Yeah, we are live. What's going on, guys? It's your man right here, the one and only Lee Sanders, coming at you all with an all new The RCWR show for Tuesday night of April 3rd, 2018. How do y'all been, man? Are you excited? Are you pumped up? It's Wrestlemania week. And even if you're not into the WWE programming at this point and you are a huge wrestling fan, there is so much great stuff that's going to be happening. Hours and hours upon hours of great wrestling content. It's not even funny. We're going to dive into all of that, get you guys ready for a jam-packed weekend. I do hope those of you I haven't heard from had a fantastic weekend. I know we had Easter Sunday. Mine definitely was awesome, as I had once again been invited back to cover Awesome Con happening at the nation's capital in Washington, D.C. It was an awesome 3-day event. I'll be telling you guys a little bit more about that. But first, I want to welcome those of you that's checking us out right now. However you're doing it, streaming right now on multiple platforms, including YouTube, Facebook, Spreaker, and exclusively on the RCWR Show app that's available for downloads in the Google Play Store for free. Can't be free. Just use the keywords, the RCWR Show. So take your pick, man. Got a couple of chats that's open. You know the whole spill, man. Oh, I'm loving it. Loving it. Definitely, I'm loving it. I have got to tell you, doing this Awesome Con event that we did just this weekend, I mean, what a great turnout, first of all. But it's really giving me the itch to want to go on ahead and take the show even like to more events, try to travel out more. And it's something that I have been going back and forth with with the missus, talking about, okay, so I'm kind of thinking about this, kind of looking into that. Now, we've got an NXT event that's going to be coming up in DC somewhere around late April. I think it's April 19th, I want to say. And I'm actually pretty excited for that because that's going to be the first time that WWE is bringing the NXT brand to the nation's capital. They're actually going to be performing at the Anthem. And I'm definitely excited for that one. That should be fantastic. Anthem, I hear really great things about that venue. As a matter of fact, my boss actually went to the Anthem a couple of weeks ago to go see Judas Priest, and she said it was a great venue. She loved it. Sound system, everything was just totally freaking on point. I'm going, all right, well, hey, the fact that she put that venue over, and she knows a thing or two about venues because in another lifetime, she actually was a concert organizer. She worked in public relations, so she knows a thing or two about dealing with talent and all that, other agencies with regards to their musical acts or acts in general, things of that nature. So the fact that she said she loved that venue, it was on point. I have a feeling that I'm going to be all right. Got some really good tickets too. I'm actually going to be sitting, I want to say, within the first 4 rows. So I mean, the ring is just bam right there, and I'm going to be, if not in the 3rd row, like, you know how you got 1 row, then the 2nd row behind it. And so I think I'm basically going to be in the I'm going to be in the 3rd or the 4th row. So I'm going to have some really good seats, let me tell you. And I'm going to be taking all kinds of pictures. I'm definitely going to be doing an after show too. Me and the missus were actually talking a little bit about that earlier tonight. And she was telling me, okay, so is the game plan for you to do an after show once you get done with the event, once we're done seeing the event? I said, yeah, definitely. We'll do like a on-spot location talking about the event for sure. So she's pumped. She's definitely excited. Looking forward to it. So we got that. And then the other thing that's kind of giving me a little bit of an itch right now, I'm strongly considering traveling on up to the Philadelphia area because they're going to be having their Wizard World event, kind of equivalent to what had just went down with Awesome Con. So I'm kind of trying to work out the logistics with that one, but most importantly, make sure it doesn't overlap with the missus' birthday weekend because I've got plans for her. So I'm trying to figure all of that out. But yeah, man. Hey, look, I do appreciate those of you. Maybe you had spent time with the family and you didn't get a chance to check it out. I actually had uploaded, it was about, I want to say maybe, I think over 30 minutes of footage from this year's Awesome Con. So I do want you guys to go on ahead when you get an opportunity and check that out. And before I actually do some highlights about AwesomeCon, because I actually want to expand a little bit further from what I had just briefly touched upon in the overall takeaway as far as the compilation I had put out. And for those of you, before you even ask, the AwesomeCon highlights and all that, it's a great video package. I've been receiving some really good praise from friends and everything. It's actually available on the YouTube channel. So when you get done with this, you can definitely pick you on back and check it out. I'm also going to be doing some exclusive behind the scenes stuff and discussion that's going to be on Patreon next week. So stay tuned for that. But one of the other things that I had wanted to get into real quickly, see, I almost had a brain fart. Yeah, I know what I was trying to say now. Forgive me. And that's up front. I want to just say a big thank you to the great staff at AwesomeCon. It was awesome being invited back to the event for a second year in a row. I loved it. It was fantastic. Just meeting so many cool and interesting people, meeting the artists, everything was just mind-blowing. It was just totally freaking awesome. Thus, AwesomeCon. And I love the fact that they're going to be doing this again. Of course, it's a yearly thing, but what I'm more like, okay, that's smart, is the fact that they're going to be doing it next year, April 26th through the 29th. And I think that is going to be such a drastic improvement from this year, from the simple standpoint of they did this at a time in the nation's capital where it was still frigid weather that we were dealing with over here. For those of you not familiar with how the weather's been operating in the DMV, so very cold like temperatures. Hell, we're supposed to be getting snow one more time this week, supposedly anywhere between 1 to maybe 3, possibly 4 inches, depending on the respected area, right? So you factor that in. You factored also that we fell into a major holiday. And I got to tell you, turnout was rather decent. Really didn't see that many people in costumes compared to last year. But I would still say it was a pretty good turnout, given the fact that it had fell on Easter Sunday. It was overall great experience, and I just loved interacting with the vendors, the artists. I just bumped into some really cool, colorful characters, let me tell you. And one of the other things that I had enjoyed about the AwesomeCon, I mean, man, where do I even begin? Take your pick, man. You had Star Wars John Boyega had a fantastic Q&A panel. You also had Cress Williams, the star of the CW series Black Lightning, and if I'm not mistaken, they just wrapped up their first season tonight because CW had only ordered 13, unless they're going to go on ahead and maybe show a little bit more. So who knows? If they did order some more, who knows? But you're kind of going, all right, only 13 episodes, but congrats to Cress Williams and the entire cast and production crew behind Black Lightning, because officially the announcement was made yesterday that Black Lightning will be coming back for a second season. So for those of you that still have not jumped on board that series, I would highly encourage you guys to get up on it, because it is a fantastic series. If you remember Smallville or Lois and Clark, the New Adventures of Superman, or you're into Luke Cage, or maybe you're high off of seeing Black Panther, you definitely will love, trust me, you will love Black Lightning. Really great story arc, great supporting cast, great acting. It's written extremely well. You definitely will appreciate it. So congrats to him. As Cress Williams was there at AwesomeCon, we also had Ben Savage, Ryder Strong, Will Friedle from Boy Meets World. They were really popular with the crowd this weekend, extremely popular. And of course, we were just talking about Lois and Clark, the New Adventures of Superman, just going in that whole Superman realm for a hot second. We also had Tom Welling and Michael Rosenbaum from Smallville. Tom Welling playing Clark Kent, who were going to be Superman. Michael Rosenbaum, who portrayed, without a doubt, to date, the best Lex Luthor that you will ever come across. I mean, if I had to go with a distant second, for me, it would definitely be Gene Hackman. There's just something about Gene Hackman, Superman, that I had thoroughly enjoyed, but they were there. I almost didn't recognize Tom Welling, and I'm not saying this as a sleight of hand or a slight of disrespect in any type of way, but I almost did not recognize Tom Welling for the simple fact he's picked up some weight. I'm not saying he's fat in any type of way. He's not. but he is healthy. I think that's a good phrase that I can say. And I mean, quite honestly, if you search online and maybe type in Tom Welling Awesome Con 2018 and look up images, you'll see what I'm talking about. You almost kind of, you got to look at the face a second time and go, is that? And then you go, yeah, it's actually him. Michael Rosenbaum, I mean, he's always looked funny with hair, because we're so used to seeing him bald and have been for so many years on Smallville, but he still looks the same, just he has hair, still has the same build, still has the same look. He's aged rather well, I must say. But all of those cats, it was great seeing all of them. Who else? Did I leave anybody out? I mean, there was so many that were there. It wasn't even funny. Phil Lamar, voice actor, once again, he was there from Samurai Jack. I mean, take your pick. You also have Michael Roker and Sean Gunn from Guardians of the Galaxy. I mean, Michael Roker, he was just the highlight. He had everybody on cloud nine. And let me tell you, when it came to the Dave Bautista Q&A panel, you had a really awesome Dave Bautista Q&A panel. I don't know the name of the DJ that got us all warmed up, excited, ready to do the bad boy, but he was hilarious. He had like all types of cool interactions with the crowd. He was making us do dance moves and all kinds of stuff. He had a little fun contest. I mean, he was getting us nice and pumped up. But the moderator that had set things up, talking with Dave Bautista briefly for like about the first 15, maybe, yeah, I want to say the first 15 minutes, almost close to 20 minutes. He really seemed a bit outdated because, and I give him credit for admitting that he hasn't been following wrestling for many, many years. He talked about how his son is the one that's the wrestling fan, knows about what's going on with today's product, especially within the WWE realm. But the names that he threw out there as far as what he grew up on and just how out of touch he is now, he brought up Wahoo McDaniels. I'm going, whoa, he went way back on that one. But he really seemed a bit out of his element. I must say, he seemed very not really into it. And I'm not picking on the guy in any type of way, but see, when you have a situation where the day before you see him in a great one-on-one with Cress Williams before turning the Q&A session over to the panel, correction, to the fans to ask their questions. I mean, he was very strong. I mean, he seemed connected. He seemed really into it. But when you went into the Dave Bautista Q&A, you're kind of going, he seems, and Dave kind of struggled a little bit. Big Dave actually struggled. He seemed a little bit shy. He seemed a little bit, what's the right word I'm looking for? Maybe a little bit nervous as well. I thought he was doing rather well, but I tell you, once Michael Roker had came on out there, Michael Roker, it was like a shot of like, where is this energy coming from? I mean, he just breathed life into the whole remaining of the Q&A panel. It was awesome. And then Sean Gunn was there as well. Sean Gunn actually came out before Michael Roker came out. But once Roker came out, it was just, wow, this is hilarious. And I actually had recorded the audio of that. And what I'm going to do is that's going to be exclusive only to the Patreon members. It was about 45 minutes almost. That's actually going to be uploaded to our Patreon members only. And if you want to access that, hear that, you got to sign up. Patreon.com/RCWR show for just $5 a month. You can get access to exclusive audio like what I just mentioned there. You also get access to exclusive bonus episodes of the RCWR show. We've got a new series that just launched a couple of weeks ago, which is Wrestling with the Topics. That's me and Tammy. We're talking about topics that whatever comes to mind. It's just pretty much an unscripted show where we just, hey, this has been on my mind, and we just pretty much hash it out. The show goes pretty much as long as we feel like we're not rambling and we're actually just bringing a really good discussion to the table. Doesn't just have to do with wrestling. It can go into all types of different topics, but the whole love it. Wrestling with the topics, it's just we're wrestling with the topics. It's just whatever comes to mind. Again, doesn't have to do with wrestling. You also get access to 30 with Lee for any movie buffs. I review all types of movies. I even take requests. So you get access to all that for just $5 a month. So do take the time out to sign up. Speaking of which, later on, I want to get into Patreon shout outs. But it was great. Seeing that Q&A with Dave Bautista. Dave comes off as a really cool and humble guy that has not forgotten about his rough upbringings in the nation's capital in Washington, D.C. And just the way he came, it was really cool because here's a guy, grew up on the streets. It was really, really rough. His mom, doing the best that she could, realizes, okay, you know what? My kids are not going to have a really bright future for themselves if we continue to live in this area. I need to do something. I need to make a change for the better. And eventually she went on ahead, after several years, moved them on out. But DC still continues to be Dave Bautista's home, to the point he has a brother that lives literally just 2 blocks away, if not 3 blocks away from the convention center. And he had revealed to us how he had been staying with him the entire time, as opposed to staying up in a hotel room. You're going, wow, like, look at you. You could go from the convention center literally across the street to the Marriott, get you whatever floor you want, and have that whole level to yourself, not be disturbed or whatnot. But you're keeping it real by saying, nah, man, it's cool. This is home for me. I'm going to go on ahead and I'm just going to go stay with a family member. That's badass. I just think that's really freaking cool, because you don't hear a lot of celebrities that roll like that. It's just pretty much, oh, I'll be at my hotel room. Yeah, you want to come see me? Yeah, come hang out. Just, I'll meet you. Or hey, I'll have my guard or whatever. So it's really cool that had was revealed. Also, another takeaway I had with the Q&A session was, yes, for those of you that are a little bit curious about his current status with the WWE, you should be seeing this shortly, making the wrestling headlines. It's a little bit tied up right now because everybody is covering WrestleMania, but I'd be shocked if it broke out this week. But you may see me be mentioned for saying this on the show, because there's a couple of wrestling outlets that are getting ready to report it, because I had hit them up first. But the question was asked about whether or not Bautista is going to be coming back to the WWE one day. And Bautista took a pause and he acted as if, my 2 cents from a distance, and I'm usually pretty good at reading people. Remember, longtime listeners, one of the industries that I was in for many years had to do with security, bodyguard stuff. And normally, I am a good read of character when it comes to a person's body language and all of that. So the vibe that he gave me, especially when he said, and I quote, "I hope so," and that had got a thunderous ovation from the crowd. All right. He paused. He acted like he really didn't want to answer it. It took him about maybe 10 seconds to answer it, because he just looked as though he was searching for the right thing to say. And he just was like, "I hope so." And a thunderous ovation from the crowd came about. I think Bautista knows a lot more than what he's putting out there, or what he did put out there to the Q&A panel. I think my takeaway, I think that Dave Bautista has some type of a deal set with the WWE, and that he will in fact be coming back to the company. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a situation where Triple H is the brains behind this one, making sure that everything is done right accordingly to do right by Dave this last hoorah. If you ask me, Lee, when do you think Batista is going to be coming back? I wouldn't be surprised if a situation had occurred where maybe Batista comes back. I wouldn't be surprised if Batista comes back maybe. Yeah, me personally, I would love to see the night after WrestleMania. I would love to see that. But I think at this point, given the recent interviews that Batista had gave, and how he wants to come back and he wants to go all balls out, he doesn't want to be in a position where he's working with up and coming talent. Although I would like to think that if the situation was much different, it's under the right circumstances and the storyline makes a lot of sense and he's booked rather smart, that he would probably be up for it. But I'm under the impression that he probably would like to come back maybe right before SummerSlam. So, we'll have to wait and see how it comes about. I mean, if I could book things entirely different, as far as WrestleMania goes, I definitely would have some type of a Dave Bautista cameo just to kind of screw with Triple H a little bit. I'll dive more into that when I talk about WrestleMania picks and all, but that's the impression that he gave me, is that he's definitely coming back. It's already set in stone. It's just a matter of when and where is he going to pop up. But I'm personally left with the impression that, yeah, it's a lock. It is a lock. But that was really cool. And overall, it just really confirmed to me what I have always thought about Dave Bautista over the years. And I think it's so fucking hilarious how, and shout out to those of you too, because when I had showed the picture of myself and Dave from the photo op afterwards, or actually the photo op had came before the Q&A, because I actually had did the photo op the day before the Q&A, the day of the Q&A. If I did anything after the Q&A, I had did the autograph sessions with Bautista. So I actually interacted with the man twice, one for the photo op and then a second time with the autograph signing. And just the brief moments that I was able to interact with him, combined with what I had the opportunity to know about him from, some of my friends, one in particular, my pretend sister Ebony, and shout out to her. I would have loved to have seen her and her man at AwesomeCon this year, because for consecutive years they've always been at Artist Alley and doing their thing, but they had some other commitments. They couldn't do it this year, but they definitely are looking to do it next year. And we're actually brainstorming on some ideas. We're going to try to see about doing a joint collaboration where they're bringing their table, they're doing their thing at Artist Alley, and we actually have our show set up at their table, and maybe we can stream a show there like the entire 3-day weekend. I think, I don't know if you guys would maybe like that, but don't you think that'd be kind of cool if we had streamed live with you guys for like about maybe 20 minutes or whatever, let you see, the highlights, see everything that's going on and all that. I think that would be personally pretty cool. Let me know by commenting. But, she actually had the opportunity to befriend Batista years and years ago. I mean, right before he came up the main SmackDown roster, she was interacting with him while he was still in OVW. And back when MySpace was popular, yeah, MySpace, we're going way back. Back when MySpace was really, really popular, you had a situation where, Batista was one of those cats early on MySpace. If you knew his handle and all that, I mean, he was interacting. Now, he was a little bit selective. I don't know what it was. Maybe because they both had a liking to ferrets, because back then Batista had an interesting pet collection. I remember one of the pets he had was a ferret, and Ebony had a ferret. And they both had loved collecting lunch boxes. And Batista, at that point, he had a really good, impressive lunchbox collection. And they would go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And he actually had tried to encourage her to get into the whole wrestling business, because he had saw some of her photos and all that. And he had tried to push for her to go into the wrestling business and all that, as well as a couple of other people. But, no, it didn't play out that way, sadly for her. But her impressions from him, as she was always tell me and her now husband, oh, hey, I was talking with Dave the other day. And because they used to talk a lot. They used to go back and forth just via message corresponding. And how and why she lost contact with Dave, I have the slightest freaking clue. But just adding all of that up, what I've been able to see of Dave, the book that he had put out years ago, everything just being put into a pretty little ribbon and my interactions with him over the weekend, I stay firm that he really comes off as a really cool fucking dude. I mean, just how cool is this man? I mean, this guy was so cool that each time you went up for the autograph session, he would spend like about 7 minutes talking to you. And he did this for like everybody. Now, you had some people that just give me my autograph, I'm done. But for the most part, including myself, it's like we talked to him and he did not mind talking. I guess for him, it was kind of like a stress reliever, because that's one thing that he did talk about in the Q&A session, is that sometimes he can be a little bit on edge. He sometimes he kind of feels a little bit, and I would imagine doing like a Q&A and stuff like that. Yeah, he's not really exactly comfortable in that type of setting, which is kind of weird considering the work that he was doing in the ring for 10 years or whatever. So he should be used to being in front of a crowd, but it's different for everybody, right? Yeah, I guess it just depends on the atmosphere and how intimate it is and everything. But no, like when you go to the autograph session, like he wants to talk. And I talked to him. One of the things that I had said to him, I said, do you follow the Redskins? You've been following football. He's like, nah, man. He's like, other than baseball, I'm really into MMA. So I said, oh yeah, me too. I say, well, who you like coming up right now? And he was telling me, and I had told him who a girl I thought was in MMA, and I even showed him a picture of her. And Big Dave was like, you sure she's MMA? You sure not? You sure maybe she's not a boxer? And I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure she's MMA. I'm like, well, I'm not really sure now that I think about it. I saw her stuff online. She's pretty badass. And that's this girl by the name of Christina Hammer. And she is like this German boxer that last I checked is undefeated. She just inked out a deal where she's going to be now fighting, and we'll be able to see her matches on I don't know if it's going to be pay-per-view or what, but US is finally going to be able to see her in action. And she's really been coming up the fucking ranks. I mean, just been really fucking impressive. I got to tell you, really impressive. But no, dude just seems like overall a really cool dude. And it's funny because I remember as soon as he got the call up to SmackDown, I took one look at that guy. And the first thing that came out of my mouth, I said, that dude is going to be money. I smell money. That dude is going to be a world champion, a multi-time champion. He's definitely going to be carrying the workload for the company. You mark my words. And I think he's going to be successful a little bit outside of the ring. And my friend said, get out of here, man. Dave Bautista? Hell no, man. He ain't, man. Get out of here with that. But Ebony, she took a look and she's kind of like, no, yeah, he's on to something here. Just watch. He's on to something. I saw a little bit of his work as well. I think Lee's right. I think this guy, but we never would have imagined he would, like, after wrestling, go on to have such a successful career that he's been able to have in acting. Right. And he talked a little bit about that in the Q&A as well. Like I said, sign up on Patreon. You'll be able to hear the Q&A. It's great audio quality, I must say, despite the fact that I was fidgeting around with my recorder for a bit. The audio came out really well. You can hear everything that's being said. You can even hear the questions that's coming from the crowd. Like I said, Michael Roker, he was a freaking riot. And I liked how I had got this one trolling comment on Facebook. You had this cat that basically had said, oh, a photo op doesn't tell you anything about the person. And I'm thinking to myself, obviously, this is a person that, one, hasn't listened to my shows, two, is not following my Facebook page, because that's the cool thing about Facebook. You can see who's liked your page, and you can see when somebody likes your post, when, they favorite it, all that other stuff. And he didn't do any of that. So you know what I usually do? When I see somebody talk shit like that, I pull up their goddamn profile, and all it was a scrabbly drawing that was some BS. I'm going, okay, whatever. So he's just a troll. And any long-time listener knows the story that I just told you guys, Ebony and all that, and just how I've been following him over the years. And it's kind of like, come on, get out of here with that. It's like you just jealous because you didn't have the opportunity to. Okay, I get it, dude. Okay, meet the block button because you've been invited to the block party. That's pretty much how that goes. But no, it was really freaking cool. And other than that, what else? What else came about with Awesome Con? Before I get done with the talk of Awesome Con, because it really was totally kick ass. I also want to talk about ways of improvement for Awesome Con. The one cool thing I like about Awesome Con is any type of constructive criticism that they get, maybe from the press or maybe from ticket buyers, is they listen to any and all feedback that comes their way and they adjust according to. And, I got to say, going to this event and comparing it to last year, there were definitely issues with the lines. I'll give you an example without going overkill. You would have a situation where last year, those of you that's here to meet Charlotte and Nakamura, we're now taking Group A. It's like Group 1. If you are Group 1A, you're going to go to, okay, Group 1A. But for those with disability, ADA, you guys, you need to go to line. Okay, if you are Group 1 and you have a Nakamura Charlotte face badge, I need you at. And then they would do like all these weird sub chapters under Group 1, and you're like, what the flying hell? And so many people were complaining about that on social media. It was not even funny. This year, they trimmed that big time. That joint just pretty much said, hey, Group 1, all right, this is how we're doing it. Group 1, hey, those of you that have your VIPs, come on. Hey, those of you that have the face of the person on your joint, come on, let's go. Hey, you got a disability? Hey, come on, let's go. All right, everybody else, Group 1, come on, let's go. So that's pretty much how they did it. They did trim it, and they trimmed it rather better than last year, because last year there was just so many sub chapters under that group. It was, Group 1, Group 2, or whatever. It wasn't even funny. So you really weren't waiting in line that long. Last year, most people would agree. Last year, it was a situation where, man, we better get to the line like about 2 hours early or something if we want to try to be in and out when they finally call us. This year, I mean, my God, we probably officially went to the line, I would say at least, let me think. We finally got in line, I want to say by 1:15. And the lines finally didn't start getting formed until about, I want to say maybe 1:40. And then once the line had moved, we pretty much were out of there right at the stroke of like 2 o'clock. And we were able to go on and check out the rest of AwesomeCon. So you're like, wow, okay, well, hey, that's a really great improvement. But there is one area that I think needs to be improved upon for future Awesome Cons. And I was listening. That's one of the things that I was doing as I was invited as a member of the press, is that the lines that they have formed for the Q&A, you did have a lot of people, not just with the Bautista, but also the John Boyega Q&A. You had people that were upset that had bought these VIP packages, and they're left with the impression, hey, what the hell? We got these VIP passes, and we're supposed to get in on this Q&A. We're trying to get good seats and everything, but we're being beat by everybody else that didn't pay the amount of money that we're paying. What the hell? And I think a simple solution to that, you kind of got to go a little bit old school, which is, I remember personally when I went to go see Soundgarden some years back, because I had got the VIP package experience, I was actually able to go to, I forgot the new name that it's called now, but at the time it was called the Patriot Center in Virginia, Fairfax, Virginia. I was able to go to that venue, and I was able to go inside like 3 hours before everybody else. We had a nice area where we can get our eat and drinking on and interact with each other. We were taken backstage to see the sound tests and all that, see the stage, all that cool stuff. Didn't get to meet the band, which sucked, but we had got all of that, and we were in there 3 hours before everybody else. I think that going forward for AwesomeCon, that's one of the ways that they can improve. Put it to you this way. Say, for example, if the earliest you're allowing the press to come in, get their credentials set and everything so they can be good to go to cover the event, you're letting them in as early as 9 in the morning, and you're not opening the doors until 10 o'clock to basically general admission to the general public, then I think it makes all the sense in the world. If you have those that have paid for VIP, you should at least let the VIPs come in 30 minutes early. And hey, if they want to go on ahead and they want to go see if they can start the line early, then they have that right because they have their VIP passes. So that's one area that I think needs to be improved upon. As again, you had a lot of people that they weren't really feeling that. They were not really feeling that. And the other area of improvement that needs to come about, I would have to say, is the food. I got to tell you, some of the food, I was not impressed, man. I'm a sucker for burger and fries. As far as I'm concerned, if I have a burger and fries from you and it's on point, I'm going to be eating at your establishment again. We had this one place. I must have paid. Yeah, I did pay, in fact, $20. And my friends have been ribbing me the whole weekend as a result of it. But I got a burger and fries. The fries was decent. The fries was enough that you could share with two people. And the burger itself, man, the burger was the size of, I would have to say, a junior Whopper or maybe a dollar cheeseburger from McDonald's. And for that little small burger, they wanted $10. They actually charged $10 for the burger, $5 for the fries. And the drink, which was about the size of this Dasani water, but it was a cup. All right, so the cup was, cup width wise probably went to maybe a a little bit wide, and they wanted $5 for that, so $20. I'm going, man. After we got done, we so went on ahead and where did we eat? I can't remember where we ate afterwards. No, I think we pretty much just took ourselves on home. And we had, I had made dinner the night before. So I think we had leftovers actually, and we got filled up that way. But they definitely need to improve on that one. Other than that, I would have to say, the press credentials. One thing that I kind of noticed, when we went to the event and it was time for us to get in line for the Dave Bautista Q&A in particular, we're going, hey, what's going on with the press? Where do we go? And they pretty much had combined us with general admission, and it's kind of like, well, that's just silly. It's like we're part of the press. Like, shouldn't we be given a special line or whatever? Like, what the heck? That just seemed, I'm not taking a crap on it. I just think it would be better outlined, because some of my colleagues that have press credentials to certain events, they get the type of stuff that I'm talking about. So it's not about preferential treatment or anything. It's just, okay, if you break it down to me and you let me understand how things are going, then I know better how to prepare, is all I'm basically saying. So I thought that was kind of a little bit weird. Well, it was also really funny, though. I got to tell you, it was hilarious how I bumped into a few people. Like, we were waiting in the Dave Bautista line, right? This was for the photo op. And we get this one guy. What does ADA mean? And I'm looking at Tammy and I'm going, oh, Lord, here we go. Somebody didn't go to school, apparently. I'm whispering this to her, of course. And she's like, be nice. I'm like, ah. And then he follows up a few seconds later. Oh, what time is it? We tell him the time. So he sees my tripod, my camera, and all that. And he goes, oh, that's cool. You brought your own photo equipment so you can get your picture taken, huh? I said, no, I'm actually here as part of the press. Oh, okay. You're with Washington Post? Like, no, I'm it's a podcast that I do. Oh, you're with a podcast? He had like this awkward pause, and I'm thinking, yes, dude, there is such thing as established podcasts with a great following, great track record for celebrity interviews and all that. There is such thing as podcasts being officially recognized as members of the press. I didn't say all that, but that's what I'm thinking. And I'm going, yeah. Oh, well, what podcasts are you with? Like, and just picture, close your eyes, everybody. Just close your eyes and just picture this guy. Picture this guy. He's probably standing about 5 feet tall. He has on thick black frame glasses, right? Asian looking dude, has his hair going in this weird, I don't know what the hell you call it. He put too much gel in it and his sides are shaven or whatever. And he just looks like this. He just looks like a snob. I don't want to be too mean on the poor kid, but he just looks like a snob, you know? And now picture me wearing an RCWR show with Lee Sanders t-shirt, logo clear as day. And in the back of the shirt, it reads, "Wrestling always matters at the RCWR show." So I'm just looking at him and I actually kind of adjust my shirt a little bit and I go, well, it's actually my own podcast. Yeah. You know, we've been doing our podcast since 2011, and this is actually our second year being invited back to cover Awesome Con as part of the press media. And, you know, we're basically here to make sure that everything is running smoothly, report on everything that we see in here, making sure that you guys are having a great experience at the event. And at the same time, we're also showing our love and support to some of the celebrities that's here. Oh. And that shut him the hell up after that. Tried to play a pinball game, and I almost ran into literally the same thing. There was a guy that was like, same thing. You know, I don't know how it came about. Oh, I was trying to record people playing the pinball machine, and the kid thought I had next. And I said, you know what, you can go ahead. It's like, I'm actually just recording here. I'm part of the press. I'm just covering the event. You know, don't worry about me. He's like, well, we do appreciate the good press. Oh, so were you at USA Today, Washington Post? I'm like, no, my podcast. Oh. And I'm just going, what the? It was hilarious. I just laughed at that. I was like, yes, people, if you have massive followings throughout social media, you pull in decent numbers for your show and you've got good brand affiliating deals and all that good stuff. Yeah, there is such a thing as podcasts now more than ever being recognized as part of the members of the press media. For God's sake, you can now do your taxes and proclaim yourself. You know, the podcasting is now being recognized because you're making money off of it. You can report your taxes now. You can become your own company, LLC. I'll go, what the hell, man? It's just hilarious, but awesome experience altogether. I can't wait for 2019. We're already plotting Awesome Con 2019. Looking forward to it. Now, look, going forward, I got to rewind it back a little bit. Last week, I had what some would describe as what the heck kind of happened there with last week's show. You have to listen to last week's show to basically, in particular, you got to check out the web stream because it's not available in the downloads. The web stream is where it all went down. You pretty much got to tune in, see for yourself what the hell had happened. But basically, we had like a miscommunication with one of the listeners. Now, one of the listeners, they felt rather hurt as a man, because I believe in making right, you know, what's wrong, right. I did reach out to him after the show was over, and he pretty much said, oh, okay, well, thanks, you too. All right. So he accepted the apology, but he's pretty much done. All right. So going forward, what's going to start happening is I'm not going to be as interactive with you guys when I'm live. Like, as far as the chat room interactions go, this is the way that it's basically being set up. And look, before anybody jumps the gun, hear me out, because you don't know exactly where I'm going with this. So there is a moderator that has been put in place. The moderator was supposed to start tonight, but the moderator will be starting next week due to work commitments. They couldn't do it this week, last minute stuff. But there is going to be a moderator that has been approved for Facebook, and that moderator has also been given the credentials for YouTube. And they're now going to be moderating all the comments that's coming in place. They're going to be helping me cherry pick
all of, okay, hey, you know, this person has a good question. Hey, this person has a good comment that you should read. Go here, Lee. They're going to be helping me out with all of that. And most importantly, they're going to be helping me eliminate any trolls that pop up in the chats across all of those respective platforms. So I'm not going to be as Mish. Oh, Mish, I love you, buddy. How you been, man? I did, Mish. I'm not kidding. I'm looking at this dude. Mish is telling me, Mish from Wrestling Soup, guys. Shout out to Mish, good buddy of mine. Yeah, I mean, dude, just picture me. I'm wearing, clear as day, I'm wearing the RCWR show logo, right? And you see the back of the shirt. Wrestling always matters at the RCWR show. And the guy is just fucking, like, first he's behind me and he's asking these what I think is dumb questions. And I'm trying to be nice because last year I said something to some guy and Ebony was like, be nice. I'm like, what? He had it coming. I'm like, I had to be an ass. She's like, no, you don't. You can be nice. I'm like, okay. This guy I restrained so hard. Anybody remember that scene? Which X-Men movie was it? Anybody remember the scene in X-Men where you had Magneto and Mystique and they were hyping up? I don't know who it was they were hyping up. They were hyping up some villain to try and get for that villain to come on their side. They were trying to recruit him. And they're like, oh, yeah, you're the best mutant of them all. And then he looked away and he's kind of thinking to himself, yeah, you guys are right. And Magneto looks at Mystique and he has this smirk on his face like, you believe this? That's how I kind of felt afterwards, because I'm looking at dude and I just say to Tammy, I'm like, dude, really? It's like, I could have cut him up. She's like, I know. She's like, you restrained yourself very well. I'm like, yeah, I guess. Like, I guess so, man. But no, the new moderator, there's going to be a second moderator I'm going to try to put in place. I will be reading you all's comments this week. I think, honestly, if I just come across something that's just kind of like, oh, I'm just going to I'm not going to even say anything. I'm just going to quietly just do my thing. It's just really to help me do the show more. So I can try to be a little bit more focused and not get, I guess triggered is the word I want to use when I see a silly little comment. But I am looking at what you guys are saying tonight, though. But he did tell me, he said X-Men 2. Thank you, Mark Brown. X-Men 2. Yeah, it was X-Men 2. But yeah, the moderator was like, hey, look, like if you're still live at noon, or not, damn, I hope I'm not live at noon. Shit. He's like, you know, if you're still live at midnight, I'll come on board and I'll lend you a hand. I'm like, I should be okay because it's pretty much like a nice, good, quiet night so far. So before I get ready to talk about some other stuff, because the rest of the show is going to be wrestling heavy oriented. I got to give you guys a heads up. It's going to be wrestling heavy oriented. For those of you that are interested in maybe seeing Dave Bautista, he is going to be at the Wizard World at the Pennsylvania Convention Center. You can go to wizardworld.com/Comic-Con/Philadelphia. He'll be there. I want to say he's only going to be there one day out of that week. I want to say he's going to be there on Saturday, but the event is going to be running Thursday, May the 17th to Sunday, May 20th. Batista's going to be there. Ray Fisher, Cyborg from DC Comics, Justice League movie, Palm Clementif from Guardians of the Galaxy. She's going to be there. Matt Ryan, you guys know him from the now defunct Constantine series. He's going to be there. Fonz himself, Henry Winkle, he's going to be there. A lot more cool people are going to be there. So check that out. Going to be some fun stuff. All right, let's have at it. Let's talk some more wrestling. Yeah. WWE RAW SmackDown this week. We can all be in agreement. Really did not feel like a WrestleMania go home. Yeah. This is the week of WrestleMania. There's nothing I love more than to kick back, especially when it's WrestleMania week. And I'm like, man, I'm so pumped. I'm so excited. Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait. Oh, yes. Oh, I got to watch Raw. I got to watch Raw. Something's going down. Oh, it's going down. But, you know, this week, both shows,
and even you guys are in agreement. I mean, it's lackluster. It doesn't feel like WrestleMania season. You know what it feels like to me? Honestly, it feels like to me, hey, here's this great, big, spectacular pay-per-view event that we're going to be doing. Okay, I'm listening. We're going to have these matches. Okay, I'm listening. What matches? We're going to have blah, 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 blah. Sounds pretty good. Okay, all right. And it's going to be airing at, okay, that sounds good. So you're going to watch it? Yeah. So what's going to happen leading up to it? We're going to just give you a big old pile of shit. Wow. Woo! Wait a minute now. Wait a minute. So let me see if I got this straight. When's WrestleMania? Oh, come on. You know when WrestleMania. No, but I need you to tell me again. Okay, so it's coming up on Sunday, right? Okay, Sunday. Okay, give me some more. It's coming up Sunday, April 8th. Okay, it's going to be in New Orleans. Oh, New Orleans. That's a really good venue. Yeah, okay. So when do you think you're going to really start promoting the story arcs and all that going into WrestleMania? What do you mean story arcs? Well, you know, hype, you know, like get the fans' interest, get them engaged, make them feel like they need to do everything, move heaven and earth. If they're going to get married, if they were going to get circumcised, if they were going to have sex with a beautiful woman, if they were going to get married, they need to put all that to the side because they need to see the build-up to WrestleMania. So you know, when do you think you're going to begin doing like this hype or whatever? How many days you think you're going to need to really hype up WrestleMania? Oh, we should be able to do it in about 40 days to really hype it up, build the story arcs and all that. Okay, all right, great. Okay. You are going to deliver on the story arcs, right? You're going to string it together and, oh, yeah. That's not how it's been coming off. It's just pretty much been you tune in, there's no thought, there's no proper good writing / booking execution. There's not enough story substance. And it's so funny because going back to Bautista a little bit, one of the things that originally I was going to consider having him sign, and a lot of you guys will probably say, Lee, that would have been more badass, but I had settled for a poster instead. I was going to have him sign the front cover of my mint condition WrestleMania 26 DVD. I was going to have him sign that. And, you know, I kind of went back and I'm like, damn, I'm looking at these matches. I'm going, man, story. I'm looking at the matches and I'm just saying story. Damn, all this was very story driven. Well booked as far as the storyline goes. But when I go into this year, there's nothing. I'm just left with, hey, we're the WWE. We've got this event you need to watch because you got nothing else better to do. I mean, right? Let's poll you guys right now. I'm looking at some of the results that came in so far. And I did not even promote on YouTube. You know, I love to usually promote the poll on YouTube, do a separate poll, but I didn't even do that. I said, no, bump that. So going to Twitter right now, and I got to look under tweets and replies here. Bear with me a quick second here, guys. Appreciate your patience, and I hope you're enjoying the show so far. Let's see what we got here. Here is the polling results, because I really didn't tweet that much today. Give me a second. I should have it in about 3 seconds. There we go. And the funny thing is, this poll was put out twice, like within seconds of each other, because I had saw like another tweet that WWE had put out, but the results was pretty much the same. It was like a mirror image almost. So I went with the one that gave me more votes, basically. So right now we have 11% of you that gave Raw a thumbs up. 24% of you gave it a staying in the middle, and an overwhelming 65% of you gave it a thumbs down. Yeah, a thumbs down. And I think for all the reasons that I had mentioned, I mean, I was interacting with a lot of you guys on Monday night, and yeah, the consensus was it doesn't feel like WrestleMania season. It doesn't feel as though, you know, what's the motivation here? Like, we know NXT is going to be bringing it, but really, where's the motivation here? And I feel where you guys are coming from. I mean, look, can we look at some, I don't want to be coming off like I'm poo-pooing over the whole damn thing, right? we can maybe talk about some things that was kind of noteworthy, like the opener. I thought the opener was decent. Triple H, Stephanie, Kurt Angle, Ronda Rousey. I thought that was okay. You got Jonathan Coachman as the moderator. Yeah, that was decent. That was decent. I like that. I was waiting patiently, $1 in my hand, because I bet Tammy that Kurt Angle was probably gonna mess up his lines on that episode, and she's like, "Nah, he's been coming along. He's good. He's gonna be flawless tonight." I said, "You want to bet?" She's like, "Okay, how about $1?" I'm like, "Okay." So we bet $1. I won that bet. He messed up his line. What do you call Ronda? Router Rondi or something like that. I'm going, "Oh, Kurt, come on, dude." Like, what the hell, man? But I thought that was nice. I love seeing the awkward moment where usually the heel wrestler is trying to work up the crowd. "Oh man, you think you're so full of yourself coming out here. Got the crowd chanting your name." And that was supposed to be their cue to jump on in. They didn't jump on in, and Triple H and Stephanie, they just tag team and troll the hell out of the crowd. I love that. I ate that up. I couldn't help but have a big old chuckle over that. But I'm not feeling the booking for this match on so many levels. I'm not feeling the booking from the standpoint of all the history between Triple H and Kurt Angle. That really should have been exploited more. I mean, especially when you go back to that period where Kurt Angle at one point had the hots for Stephanie McMahon. I would have loved it if they could have been bringing up some old stuff there to really make this feud even more interesting, right? Then the other thing I've got to also consider, I'm not feeling this whole thing with Stephanie McMahon being all cockstrong and arrogant, like she's going to be able to knock the hell out of Ronda Rousey. It's like, okay, I get the fact, and I love that they highlighted this in that opener. I like the fact that they stressed, hey, what you did in the MMA world and everything, that's irrelevant. That don't mean nothing now because you're in the WWE. So you're going to have to learn everything. You're going to have to start from scratch. Yeah, but that MMA background that she has, that's intact. You know, she is still bringing those skills with her into that squared circle. So to see this, and I don't think it is the fault of, no, actually, I do think it's the fault. I was going to cut them some slack, but no. You know who that's the fault of? The way that Stephanie is being booked? That is the fault of, I would dare say, Stephanie McMahon, because she's got to come out there. She's got to look very dominating. She can't look weak. She can't look inferior to certain talents, right? She has to always get in her licks, right? She's got to always get in her spots, okay? Not even a full-time wrestler. And as some of you pointed out, oh, Stephanie's 1-0 at WrestleMania. I'm not feeling that. This should be a situation where the one time a female is put in front of Stephanie McMahon and has the skills to the likings of a Ronda Rousey, Stephanie should be in a position where she's doing everything she can to talk a good game. But when Rondi is about to get physical with homegirl, she should be cowering, right? She should be groveling. She should be begging, please don't hit, no, please, and trying to do some type of, like Bobby the Brain Heenan. Bobby the Brain Heenan used to know how to work the crowd and make you work for coming out of your pockets to see him eventually get his ass kicked around in the ring. And just not seeing that with Stephanie. I mean, seriously, when was the last time Stephanie McMahon truly cowered, truly dropped to her knees because of a female superstar on the WWE roster? When was the last time? China don't count. Because I know some of you go, China, that's personal reasons. But no, seriously, when was the last time really? And you kind of have to stop and think about it. You just look at the way that she's, been booked. You're going, what the hell? And I'm not really feeling it. I'm not. It's weak. It's stupid on so many levels. It's not really believable. Not feeling it. I'm just not feeling it. But you know, it was decent. Otherwise, I would have to say. What else? Stupid booking 101. I gotta go there. It was plain. It was so obvious. I couldn't ignore it. The stupid booking with Kurt Angle saying to Roman Reigns, hey, I need a good go home show for tonight. I don't want you and Brock Lesnar to get into any type of altercation, okay? Please promise me you're not going to start anything. I need both of you guys to be healthy going into WrestleMania. Then you got Kurt Angle saying the same thing to Lesnar and Heyman. Heyman's like, don't worry, everything's going to be cool. We're going to go out there. We're going to hype up Roman. We're going to hype up this match. Don't worry. Okay, amigo, everything's going to be okay. Comprende? Don't worry about it. We got you, man. And no, the last thing you see is a situation where Kurt Angle nowhere to be found, as you got half the roster of men come out. They're blocking the path just in case Roman Reigns shows up. He does come out. He's denied passage to the ring so he can square off one-on-one against Roman Reigns, and no Kurt Angle is in sight. I would have booked that in a scenario where I would have had Kurt pop on out and say to Roman Reigns, hey, Roman, I'm letting you know right now, if you go in that ring and you get physical with Brock Lesnar, I will pull you from WrestleMania. I have no problem doing it. I'm telling you, I know we have a responsibility to our sponsors and shareholders and all, but I will pull you from this Mania matchup. And I will give you the heaviest fine and suspension that's possible on top of that. You're treading on thin ice here. Turn back around, go home. I would have booked it like that, but no, there's no Kurt Angle. Roman Reigns comes out, pretty much says, hey, you're going to let this part-timer say all this stuff? You're going to give this part-timer this type of treatment that you're giving him right now? You know he don't deserve this. Come on, guys. And they all just pretty much part the sea like Moses. Where's Kurt Angle to come on out and say to those guys, hey, any one of you all that do not do as I say, you ain't going to be on WrestleMania and you're going to be suspended for 30 days. I suggest you do your job. Hell, I would have liked it if those guys would have done their job, denied Roman passage. Roman gets all physical, fights them, and take the fight to Brock Lesnar. Suspension of disbelief. You have Kurt Angle basically say, Roman Reigns, you left me no choice. Effective immediately, you are suspended. Your match at WrestleMania for the WWE title, the Universal title, that's off. And you could have had this big drought, this hangover, this, what the hell is going to happen at WrestleMania now? Are we going to get a new number one contender? What the hell is exactly going on here? And you could have just squashed all of that by the time you get to WrestleMania. And basically, it could have been a situation where Vince McMahon bumps into Kurt Angle. You could have done this maybe a couple of hours before or an hour before. And Vince McMahon says to Kurt Angle, look, I respect your position. You know, ever since you were awarded the job, for the most part, you've been doing an okay job. But on this one, the biggest stage of them all, people paid a lot of money to see Roman Reigns take on Lesnar for this title. A lot of people are looking forward to this matchup. I'm sorry, but this is the one time I got to overturn your decision. Your heart's in the right place, but you're not thinking with your head. I would have been fine with that if they would have went in that direction. I totally would have been fine with that. But poor, crappy writing. No thought process really being put into it. It's just pretty much, we'll just give them this pile of shit. They'll take it. We'll get our money. They're like Donald Duck, and they're counting the green dollar bills, and they're just bobbing their head and everything. You know, that's me like every day of the week, especially when I get my money and I'm working with my brand deals and all that. I like got my fucking money, and I'm just, all I do is count, because I don't know if I can ever stop. Seriously. So wasn't feeling that. I see somebody in the chat bringing up the whole Nia Jax. I'm glad that you brought up Nia Jax, Steven. Let's talk about this Nia Jax. That's another one that I really wasn't feeling. Can we do another case of stupid booking 101? And shout out to Razor. Yes, the dude with the glasses, he did have that Corey Graves hair. Yes, he did, my friend. Shout out to Razor. Hey, the interview with Nia Jax. Yeah, that was a case of stupid booking 101 as well, because what I watched before my very eyes, the chick came off bipolar, right? She's going, oh, it was, I on one hand, she's talking, oh, I don't care what people think about me, I'm not like most girls anyway. And then on the other hand, she's talking about how she's going to get this revenge. And it's like, hey, wait a minute now. And then let's really dissect this Nia Jax thing. We've got Mickie James and Alexa Bliss, and what I thought has been one of the most stupidest, cringeworthy stories that WWE can come up with. Here it is. Let's lay it out for you. Lay it down. Nia Jax, this big behemoth juggernaut. Think Rhino. Think China. Think Beth Phoenix, right? Juggernaut of a woman. Think Samoa Joe. Think Brock Lesnar. She's like all of these things in one. And she is badass. Man, you don't want to be facing her one-on-one because she will annihilate you. Okay? Nah, man. You need like 2-on-1, 3-on-1. The more people you can bring to help kick her ass, the better. Don't fight her one-on-one. Right? That's the mentality. You got to have a game mentality when it comes to Nia Jax. Now, for whatever respected reason, every time we've seen a situation from last year going into now, Nia Jax has been in some type of a match where, oh, title shots on the line or this opportunity is on the line. We usually see her get ganged up on because, hey, don't face her one-on-one. She's going to beat that ass. And so you've got that aura about her. You've got that mystique about her. But then we go into this very weak story arc where, hey, you could have went with used to be my homie, used to be my friend. You could have went in that direction and just let it be about that. What, you could kind of say former friends, bitter enemies. You could maybe kind of tease that a little bit. Hey, well, they were never friends to begin with, right? But rather than go in that direction and play off of the history from Total Divas and just string all of that together, we've got the writers that go, okay, got an idea. Let's make fun of Nia Jax's weight. There you go. Let's just do that. Works. That works. And you've got Nia Jax fighting so hard away from WWE, trying to stress the importance of loving yourself, self-love, appreciate your appearance, appreciate your body, all of that good stuff, right? She's doing all of these colorful, and it's great. It's great. It's awesome, right? But you've got this awkward segment that we got from Raw where Mickie James and Alexa Bliss are calling her blubber and all. Bad enough, you got some people saying, she looks like Missy Hyatt in that music video, the way she wears that outfit. But to actually bring this to the forefront, really, this is the best that you can do storyline-wise to make people feel invested in this feud. This is the best that you can come up with. I cringed. I cringed when I saw this. I was not feeling it whatsoever. And also at the same time, how much it had hurt Mickie James from the standpoint. Anybody remember when she was involved in the Miss Piggy angle from Michelle McCool and Layla? Remember how emotional of a roller coaster that was? Her opinion has changed drastically over the years. At one point, it was a situation where, she let it be known she really didn't like doing that. It was rather awkward. She didn't appreciate that. She kind of felt as though it was a disrespect to her as she was making her way out of the company. And they just kind of felt like, oh, well, we'll just do whatever with you, whatever. So for Mickie James to even be involved in this, and now she's the one that's throwing the insults. this is what's cool about our show. I do my research. For those of you that may be a little bit curious, want to know what Mickie James had said last about Miss Piggy, the whole Miss Piggy reference? Yeah, leading to her WWE exit. This was one of the most recent things that she had said, and this goes as far back as I want to say, I want to say maybe 2013. All right. The question was, how did you feel about the Piggy James angle you had in WWE where Michelle McCool and Layla bullied you? And I quote, looking back on it now, I think it shed some light on a big issue in our school system and on the internet now. With technology at your fingertips, it's so easy for bullies to do it now, sitting behind a keyboard because there's no face to face interaction. And that storyline, I think, was an attempt to address bullying and tell a story with it. Michelle and Layla had already been playing the role of the mean girls, but I don't know where exactly that storyline came from. And honestly, I feel like it was one of the most difficult storylines to take, as I found it difficult to take my personal feelings and emotions out of it. But I can see how it may have resonated because at some point, most of us have been bullied or picked on. So most of us can relate to it in some aspect because you're going to have sympathy for the character and understand where she's coming from, impacted from the pearls of bullying. So I don't know if maybe this was a case right here where 2013 on, Mickie James is kind of saying, it'd be kind of nice to just stay connected to those in the WWE. Because again, her answer previously before that, it was, well, hey, I thought that was kind of disrespectful, that they had me in that. It's kind of like a kick in the ass as I'm on my way out. And then all this stuff with John Cena and, me and him and former boyfriend, she's just going into all of this, and to now see her in this position. I get it. At the end of the day, look, I don't like it, but I can understand her position. Whatever you got to do to get your paycheck, right? Last thing you want to do is put your foot down because after all, you get in a little marquee little cameo spot at WrestleMania. 9 times out of 10, y'all's going to be involved in that women's battle royal, right? So you don't want to mess up that WrestleMania payday, but I'm not feeling it when it's all said and done. I'm not feeling this angle. So that's another thing that just kind of makes me go, we're supposed to be wrapped around this whole women's revolution, women being looked upon as equals from their male counterparts and all that, right? They're strong, they're smart, and and they're just as equally gifted as the males when it comes to that squared circle. But yet we're reducing ourselves to making fun of somebody's weight. Whatever, man, whatever. So, I mean, other than that, there really wasn't anything else from Raw that we can really sink our teeth into. Yeah. So we're pretty much done with that. SmackDown was SmackDown. Guys, do I really need to bring up anything in particular from SmackDown? There's nothing of interest I need to talk about with SmackDown, right? I mean, just pretty much there was nothing substantial, nothing significant, right? Anything from Raw I need to bring up, guys, before I move on? I mean, I think we pretty much covered the main gist. Yeah, let's go ahead. Let's continue on. I'm sure you guys will let me know. Taking a look in the chat here. Yeah, okay. I see one vote for no. All right, let's keep it moving along then. Let's see. Where do I want to go from here? Well, where I want to go is, yeah, I guess we can kind of go in this direction. So, so I see that Cody Rhodes and Disco Inferno, they had a little bit of an exchange. My Twitter timeline was just blowing up the other day when I was looking at stuff, and I'm going, what the hell? All right, so let's recap for you guys real quick. So New Japan Pro Wrestling, they had an event that went down a couple of days ago. They had presented the Sakura Genesis show. And in this, Will Ospreay had did a move that honestly he didn't execute properly. And as a result of that, he landed on his head badly. As a result of that, looks as though he's going to be missing out on a really good WrestleMania weekend payday. Because you know how it is with WrestleMania, all the wrestling promotions, they try to come around wherever WrestleMania is going to be, do their own respected events. All right, cool. Nice alternatives for those that may not be able to afford going to WrestleMania. All right. So Willow Spray, he messed himself up rather badly. Cody Rhodes in this same event, he got messed up badly. He took a kick to the face by Kenny Omega, left a pretty bad cut above his eye. And you had Disco Inferno. He had a couple of things to say about this that Cody Rhodes did not appreciate. I'm going to read to you what Cody Rhodes had said. I have not checked out with Disco Inferno because I'm not sure about his podcasting schedule. So I don't know if Disco Inferno had rebuttal just yet. So I'll have to rely on you guys as far as if he did do a rebuttal. I'd like to know what he said. But here's what Disco Inferno had said here. Let me pull this up. Talk about scathing. All right. So he said this via Twitter at The Real Disco. I think I have discussed the industry-wide epidemic of the lack of common sense regarding injury prevention. Nobody knows how to work anymore. They would rather kill it to get Dave Meltzer to put their match over. That is a problem that needs to be put front and center. Guys are going to keep getting hurt. Got no problem with what Disco Inferno is saying right here because, quite honestly, he's not taking any shots at anybody in particular. It's rather vague. I mean, for all we know, he might have been watching something else. You know what I always say? Try to do your best to not assume. And yeah, I was a victim of that last week. I don't need you to remind me. Boosh. But yes, sometimes we allow ourselves, and this is something that I've been saying for many, many years now. Sometimes we allow ourselves, when we're reading things, to go with the first reaction, the first impulse that comes to mind. And we go with that. We think of that as fact. We think of that as truth without first, well, let's really expand the horizons here. What is it that I really should be taking away from what I'm reading here? So Cody Rhodes responded saying, "Stop. You know nothing. You have drawn $0. No fan has ever left a show thinking about you. You were lucky to be a juiced up double lifer over with the boys type in an era where you hid in plain sight, coasting on other success. Don't hang, then can't get booked now." Oh, correction. Couldn't hang, then can't get booked now. I take no pride in ending the man's career with a single tweet. But this whole they're doing it wrong, I know how to do it right. They're exposing the business. That logic itself is exposing the business. Don't let the bitter have a place in our world. And I saw, I don't know which one it was. It kind of, the vibe I kind of got was maybe it was Joey. Mish, I don't know if you want to correct me, if that's not the case, but I see Joey, maybe Mish from Wrestling Soup. They were going at it. Well, not going at it, but they offered a good rebuttal to Cody Rhodes, who responded back, and Cody just going on this diatribe of, can I just tell you something from a distance? And I don't really see too many people really stressing and highlighting this. Is it just me? Or does it seem as though ever since Cody Rhodes had left the WWE, one could make the impression that with some of the rather harsh tweets that he's been putting out, it's almost kind of as if he's trying to come off tough. He's trying to come off arrogant. He's trying to, it kind of feels like a facade. What I'd like to know is if this persona was always there, if this was always intact, why didn't you showcase this in some type of form while you were with the WWE? Because I'd like for somebody to do the wave back machine or whatever and show me any tweets from the moment that Cody Rhodes had joined Twitter during his tenure with the WWE. Show me any type of language like this of what we've been getting from Cody as of late. It really feels as though he's trying to be something that he is not, which is this tough guy. Now, don't get it twisted. I respect tremendously
the contributions that his dad made to the business. And one could make the argument of, well, let's be honest, if it wasn't for your dad and who your dad was and everything that he meant to the business, would you have even had the moderate success that you had in the WWE, or would you have been given your pink slip much sooner? Right? So that's a question that, and sadly, we'll never really know. We will never really know. But does Cody Rhodes have a good mind for the business? Well, he learned from the best. I would like to think and believe that there are some things that he picked up from his dad. And I can't wait to see how this all-in event does. I would imagine, I'm hoping it's successful. I really do. I would like for this to be a yearly thing. We'll have to wait and see. But I'm wishing him nothing but success with that all-in event. So for me, I look at this, I read this, and I can't help but go, Cody, where is this? Where is this coming from, man? Seriously, where is this coming from? I'm old school when it comes to social media, and I keep telling people, and I hope Cody finds this. I hope he finds this well. I've been a supporter of his for many years. Love his work. Been following his career. Love the guy. Love the guy. Every single time I've been on this show, longtime listeners will tell you, I've been on this show. Man, why aren't they doing Cody like this? I'm happy that the guy has been able to get the newfound success that he's been able to get. He's talking about how he's making more money than he ever was while in the WWE. Mad props, Cody. Great. Fantastic. You got a beautiful, hot smoking wife. You know this, but hey, I'm just giving you a compliment and just recognizing the good things that you have going on in your life right now. You got all these great things happening. And yet it seems like every time a situation occurs where somebody does not agree with your philosophy on a certain subject, you go on ahead and rather than go into a healthy debate and at least come away saying, hey, well, you know what? I may not agree with this person and they may not agree with me, but at least we were able to have a meeting of the minds and we walked away having a different perspective on each other's take. And it was a healthy debate, right? Hey, maybe I made a new friend in the process of it. I'm not seeing that. I'm not seeing that. Instead, I'm seeing this hate, this venom hate. Anybody remember the last time how he had dissected the hell out of that one fan? What was it? OSTR Central, the guy over there. He just cut him down. And there is such thing. And I'm getting a little bit sick and tired of this whole, well, you didn't get in the squared circle, so you don't know jack shit. First of all, you're assuming. Just like you assumed the worst with Disco Inferno's tweet. For all you know, he might have not even been talking about the match. But just say, for the sake of the argument, say he was talking about the match. Did he insult you in any type of way? Did he name call you? Did he say anything about you not being successful in any type of way? No, if anything, his whole message was, hey, stop for a minute. Rewind it back, right? Take a couple of steps back. And you don't have to do all of this stuff right here. You don't have to do all that. Why are you risking yourself? Why are you damn near risking paralysis? Why are you damn near risking giving yourself a severe injury by putting yourself in these type of situations? Play it smart. Don't do stuff like that. That's all Disco is basically really saying. Now, at this point, you have a decision to make. Either respectfully, I disagree. I think that in your era, this is what's going on now compared to your era. So the times are changing and we have to adapt. I get your generation of how it was with wrestling when you were coming up, but this is how it is now, and this is how we're trying to adapt to it. We got to listen to the fan base. Sorry you feel that way, but you can respond that way or do like I do. Try to do your best not to respond at all, right?
You get trolls on social media that say some stupid crap. I'll never forget. I'll never forget. I remember when Ryback's podcast had first came out, and I had listened to the very first episode, and I actually had put over the podcast. I said, "Hey, I like this. It gives me a nice, good perspective from someone that was involved in the WWE in recent years. It's nice to kind of understand what's going on behind the scenes with the product today. Love his overall takeaway. I was left with, wow, this guy's actually kind of pretty articulate. You know, gives me something to really, wow, I didn't know he was cool. All right, he's made a fan out of me." And I remember somebody came right back, "Dick sucker." I didn't say anything back. First thing I did, I pulled up their profile. I saw that it was some 13-year-old punk face, pizza face looking kid, and I blocked him. I said, problem solved. So, I mean, to guys like Cody Rhodes and everybody else, when you see that you're getting something your way and it's something, well, I don't agree with this. What the hell? Sometimes you just got to be like, okay, well, what do I want to do? How worked up am I? Well, you know what? If I'm worked up to the point, I don't think I'm going to be going on this person's show. I don't want to see anything. You know what? Screw this person. You ain't gotta make no announcement. You ain't gotta bury them. You ain't gotta do nothing. All you gotta do, just block them on social media. When they send you interview requests asking if maybe they could come on your show and everything, don't respond. Mark that bad boy spam. Let it go to your junk inbox. That's all you gotta do. Keep it moving along. So I just hope that going forward, Cody can be a little bit smarter about the things that he says on social media, because any real fan, anybody that is truly a fan of Cody Rhodes and considers themselves a fan of Cody Rhodes should be doing the right thing and say to Cody, "Hey man, look, yeah, Disco Inferno, a gimmicky character, really no career defining moments, right? Yeah, definitely not a Triple H or a Stone Cold or a Dusty Rhodes or anything, but he went in there day in, day out, and he did whatever he needed to do to put whomever over. He did his contributions. He made his contributions to the business. You guys are part, look at the bigger picture. You guys are part of an elite club, and the stories, everything that has come about with the business, you guys are part of that storytelling. And there's only but so many that can say, yeah, I did that. I was in that industry. And let me tell you, XYZ, right? Everybody should be a big family with regards to that. I mean, it almost kind of came off as if maybe Cody has some type of personal beef with Disco. I'm not sure if there's something he's not letting on, letting the fans know about, because it really just seemed like a very personal attack. There's, hey, let me put you in check. And then there's, okay, seriously, what's your problem? Did I do something to you that I don't know about? Did my family did something to you that, because this venom that I'm getting coming my way, what the hell? So I really hope that going forward, Cody can just, because I have to tell you, I've got to be honest, and then I'm going to go ahead and move it along here. Every time I see Cody Rhodes open his mouth like this, it makes me become less and less of a fan. I mean, if I have the money right now and I'm seeing this stuff that's coming about with Cody and what how he's talking down to the fans and how he's talking to, fellow colleagues that at one point were involved in the business. And you're asking me, hey, you going to go put that money down for Cody Rhodes and the Young Bucks all-in event? I would have to say, as it stands right now, no. So I really hope that he smartens up, and honestly, just going forward, see something that he's not feeling, just do block. Hell, you don't even have to do block. You can just do mute, and you'll never see or read a tweet or anything else from that person again on whatever respected platform that you're on. Speaking of blocking and all that, I finally figured out why Bully Ray had blocked the RCWR show. Went back to that interview that he had did with Alberto El Patron and Paige. And there was a point where me, And I want to say, yep, it was me, Mish, and Don Tony. We all were exchanging thoughts about the podcast. And I didn't say anything dickish. I basically had said, yeah, but he didn't really dive into, hey, what's going on with this so-called abuse that your family page is proclaiming. They're saying that Alberto is being abusive to you physically. Can you shed any light on that? And I forgot what Mish had said, but I remember that's the position I had took. Because remember, I told you guys a couple of weeks ago, I said, hey, looks like Bully Ray had blocked the RCWR show. I was like, what the hell? I was like, I never said anything bad about the guy. I mean, damn, you're just now blocking me because I've said much more unkind things as far as aces and eights and all that go in TNA. Don't be sorry. Don't be no, but that's my whole thing. That's my whole thing, Mish. It's like, oh, in this society, when you disagree with somebody, like try to understand their viewpoint. And at this point, Bully Ray was still kind of relatively new to the podcasting world. I wish he would have simply just came right back. Okay, obviously you see these tweets. You see you're being you're being mentioned. Why not just say, hey, respectfully, that was just way too sensitive for me. I didn't want to go into that area. Alberto and Paige, I consider them friends. And honestly, I just think that's just a big old personal thing that just needs to stay between them. I just wanted to try to make it be as friendly as possible, make them be as comfortable as possible, or better yet, you could even hide behind the whole, yeah, well, I had asked them before we went live on the air if there was anything that they didn't want me to bring up. And they actually had told me they would rather not talk about that. So I had to honor that. They're my friends after all. And they told me of all topics, that was something that they did not want to talk about. Lord knows, you know how many times when me and Tammy were like, who can we get on the show? And Tammy will usually take the lead and be like, okay, I've got this guest. Oh, okay, sweet. And when it comes time for the interview, right before, because we're talking to them for like at least 5 to 10 minutes, just shooting the shit. And we go, okay, so we're getting ready to do this. Is there anything maybe you don't want us to go into? Anything you want us to kind of stay away from? Most of our guests will go, nah, everything is good. Honestly, if there's something I come across, I'll let you know. You'll kind of know, go to the next question. Or we'll get, yeah, well, don't bring this up. Don't ask me who I'm friends with. Look, everybody knows that I'm connected with so-and-so. So I don't really want to get questions about, okay, we can respect that. No problem. So, it's like, come on, Bully. Am I still a fan of Bully Ray? Yeah, I still like the man. If a situation were to ever occur where, let's say at Awesome Con or something like that, and kind of like at Awesome Con, Hurricane Shane Helms and the creator of Headlock Comics, they actually were there. And Tommy Dreamer was there as well. Christian was there as well. But I was surprised by Hurricane Shane Helms. I did not expect to see him at Awesome Con. And it was funny too, because he's walking down the hall with his girl. And I just hear a couple of people go, stand back. There's a hurricane coming through. And I go, what the hell? And these were the fans saying this to Hurricane. And I go, damn, hon, that dude looks like Hurricane Shane Helms. And she's like, where? Right there. It's like, actually, babe, that is Hurricane Shane Helms. Like, really? Did a second take. Holy crap, it is him. So I was surprised to see him, but no, I almost got a brain fart live on the air. If it was a situation where I saw Bully Ray at a RF video table at like a Comic-Con event or something like that, I would definitely go and I would say hello and I'd say, hey man, I'm a fan of, I would be pushing my RCWR show logo and everything. I ain't gonna do no punk bitch shit and go, how come you blocked me? No, I'm gonna go right up to him and I'm gonna say, hey man, I'll tell him to his face. I'd say, hey man, I don't agree with some of the things that you say and do over the years, some of your interactions with fans, but for everything you've done for the business, I respect the hell out of you. You're definitely one of my favorites. Hey, can I get your autograph? And I keep it moving along. I actually still like the guy as opposed to some people. Some people just are like, fuck Bully Ray. But that's my takeaway. I was thinking about that, Razor. I was actually thinking about that as well, which is Razor is bringing up a good point in the chat. He's saying Cody could just be working the people on Twitter as a Bullet Club member. He's been on Conan's podcast with DISSECO. I was thinking about that as well. And I'm hoping that maybe, just maybe, it is a work, and just to get people talking and everything. I did think about that. But even if you were to put that to the side, Razor, you still have the situation of, okay, well, what about the dude from OSTR Central? And multiple times I have seen Cody Rhodes on more than one occasion be disrespectful to people that are actually legit fans of his, and he's just taking a massive shit on them. Well, you don't know anything about the business. Well, how do you know that? Just because you look up their bio and everything like that, I can understand it if they're 13. But if there are 20 something, 18 and up, for all you know, they might be training. You can't assume, right? You can't assume. So even if you were to put that to the side, Razor, you still have to question how he's going about interacting with people on social media. And I still feel that, going forward, you got to switch it up. You got to change the pace, man. You got to. Hope you guys are enjoying the show so far. We got loads more talk, loads more, man, that we're going to be going into. I want to introduce a new segment that we're going to do. It's happening every single week. It's called Tuesday Night Feedback. That's our new segment. And there's some things that will jump out at me as far as fan interactions go that I kind of want to highlight. So this week, what I have going on here is there was one really cool comment that had came in, and it had to do with me saying on last week's show, give Ronda Rousey more time. I am aware of the awkward interviews that had came about with Ronda Rousey last week. I sadly did not have an opportunity to talk about it because by the time it went down, my show was already off the air. I think she was pretty much doing it like Wednesday on. If she did it Tuesday, sadly, I didn't even catch it. If WWE would have been heavily promoting it, I would have caught it for sure. I would have set my DVR. But Wednesday on is pretty much when I saw a lot of this stuff that she was doing. And like I said on Facebook, go on the Facebook page, facebook.com/the RCWR show. I said, hey, speaking as somebody that has been a fan of Ronda Rousey for many, many, years, talking, not one of her strong points. Why are people shocked at how she handled herself during these interview sessions? And I said, you have to give her time. Now, at the same time, I told you guys, when WWE is doing it right, I give them praise. When they're doing it wrong, I'm on that ass. And I'm on that ass right now from a PR standpoint. WWE's PR team, they need to be fired. That should have never happened with Ronda Rousey. That demonstrated to me poor preparation. That's what came off to me. Poor preparation. A good PR agent, they basically go to their client and they say, okay, look, so you're going to go on ESPN, you're going to go on First Take, then after that, you're going to go on FS1, you're going to go on Undisputed, you're going to talk to Skip Bayless, Shannon Sharp, all right? And look, I want to get you ready, okay? You're probably going to be asked about what's going on with your career in MMA. Are you done with it? Will you ever go back to the UFC? I just want to prepare you. These are maybe some of the questions that you're going to get. Your answer pretty much just needs to stay the same. Keywords you need to focus on: UFC return, MMA return. You can just say you're not really sure right now. All your marbles are with the WWE. You're pretty excited for this opportunity and working with them. Better preparation. That did not look what I saw of Ronda last week with the media rounds. WWE and/or her own respective PR team did not prepare her. Straight up, they did not prepare her. So going forward, they need to be much smarter in how they get her ready. All right. If you want her to look like Think about it for a second. She is involved in one of the biggest pay-per-view events of them all, and she's making her debut. She's definitely going to be doing her part and bringing in this decent revenue, right? So keeping all of that in mind, don't you think common sense, it makes all the sense in the world to make her come off like $1,000,000 in her interview segments? Seriously, don't be so lackluster. Don't be so fucking lazy and go, oh, we can just have her roll out there. She's just going to talk for about 5 minutes or whatever. Just so we'll be okay. No, you don't do that. You don't do that. And I'm also under the impression that WWE or somebody in the WWE public relations team did not put two and two together and say, we're getting ready to have her make these media rounds, and she doesn't really do media rounds, does she? She doesn't really like. Show me some footage on how she's been handling herself in media rounds over the years. Oh my God, that is brutally bad. She doesn't really like talking, does she? All right, well, we're gonna have to, we've already made the commitment. We got to get her ready, so let's go ahead. And it doesn't take that long. It doesn't matter what the show is. The questions are always going to be the same. No matter how it comes out there, it's always going to be the same, right? So, yeah, they fucked up with that. I will definitely admit that they fucked up with that. But following up on what I said last week, as far as giving Ronda more time with the mic skills and all that, Exodia Wolf had wrote this. I do agree. WWE should give her some time, maybe more than usual. It could muscle memory. It could be muscle memory issues. This is what he said. I'm kind of cleaning up what he had wrote here. It could be muscle memory issues, getting used to work, fighting, and not shoot fighting, or being intimidated by the audience and being live. But how long will the fans be able to put up with it? Wrestling fans can be pretty damn impatient. Gunny Yo 50 had said she definitely got something there, even though I myself can't stand her, but it'll take a lot of time, effort, training for her to come good. I think he's trying to say to become good. They invested way too much money on her to fail, so they'll persist with her for a while. Do agree with both of you all's comments there. Appreciate that. And also, I was picking you guys' brain as far as if you all remember the WWE shop and the restaurant in New York City at Times Square. There was a couple of you all that had shared some really cool, fun stories with me about that. Appreciate those of you that had interacted. And yeah, I remember me and my pretend sister Ebony, we would go to New York a couple of times many, many years ago. We love going out there. And the New York I remember, as far as Times Square goes, there was a porn store, a couple of them, every 2 blocks. It was hilarious. And the WWE store, my God, it was massive. It was fucking huge. I mean, it felt like a fat kid in a candy store. It was just, you just, man, we would spend good money when we would go up there. We would spend good money. We used to go by Greyhound. We would spend about, at that time, I think it was $15 maybe to get to New York from DC to New York back then. We want to say it was $30 round trip. So we would hop on the first bus, which would be, we used to leave out at about 5 a.m. to get to Union Station. And once we got to Union Station, we'd get on, I want to say maybe like 6:15, 6:30 in the morning bus. And we would be at New York by about 10:30, almost 11 o'clock in the morning. And we used to go sightseeing. Oh my God. It was so cool back then. So fucking cool back then. And we would go to the WWE New York store, and it was awesome. We never went to the restaurant. And one of the questions I had asked, I said, hey, do you guys remember if the restaurant was open at 11 o'clock in the morning or whatever, or did it open late in the afternoon? Because I know for sure it would be open in the evening, but I couldn't remember if it was open during the afternoon, because usually we would hang out in Times Square up until about, I would say, shit, probably four, almost, no, about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And then we would try to catch a Greyhound going back because it would be like 4 hours to get back home. So sometimes we would stay until 4, maybe 5, pushing it. And then we'd come on back. We'd get back to DC about a little after 9 o'clock at night. And it was awesome. And I remember fun times, fun times. I remember there was a couple of pictures we had took. There was a Hulk Hogan statue, if I'm not mistaken. There was definitely a Dwayne The Rock Johnson statue. Now, I don't know if they were put out front by the WWE store, but there was definitely a Rock statue. I mean, we were walking down the street and we just went, "Holy crap, it's The Rock!" And we're like, "Why is he just standing there?" And then we realized it was a wax figure. But I mean, it looked just like the man. They did a really good job on him. And Kimberly, she had followed up with me as far as sharing her memories of WWE, the store. And one of the reasons why I'm kind of bringing this up is because if you guys had missed it, that's actually one good thing that came about from Raw is they had announced that a WWE store was opening in New Orleans this weekend. And you're going, what? Yeah, all the goodies in that area. And I said, man, wouldn't it be cool if they went on ahead and they put a fucking store back in New York? That would be awesome. And for those of you that's going, well, what happened with the store in New York, Lee? Long story short, WWE had put people in charge that they felt, okay, they're going to make sure that the books, everything is okay. But you had a lot of people that were screwing around with the books. They were basically not reporting all the profits that were coming in. And you just had all this shady crap that was going on. Some other questionable stories I've heard over the years that some of the people that were put in charge of these establishments, they were doing a little bit of extracurricular activity on the side, sound a little bit of that, but really the main gist was the accounting books. The money just was not adding up. And so rather than WWE just do a clean sweep and just fire everybody and try to start from scratch, close that joint down for a couple of weeks, they just said, no, we're just going to shut this bad boy down altogether. And they let the lease lapse, and that pretty much was it. But I would imagine that if everything goes right over these next couple of quarters with their store in New Orleans, that they very well may end up going on ahead and look into bringing it back to New York. So fingers crossed. I definitely would go. Grand opening day, wouldn't miss it for the world. It's probably the one regret that I have in retrospect is when the WWE store opened in New York. I wish I actually would have went. But I tell you, if they bring it back to New York, I kind of have a feeling they will. They're going to do it. It's just a matter of time, getting the logistics down and everything. They definitely will. But Kimberly had shared a really cool story with me. She had this to say, which is, and I quote, I believe so, with regards to the restaurant being open in the afternoon. I don't remember any more, to be honest, but it was fun to eat there. The food was pretty good. I've heard a lot of people say that, Kimberly. A lot of people were telling me that the food was really good there. The food was pretty good, and they always had video playing. My dad actually took me there once, and they introduced him because he used to be the president of the union that helped run it. He got a nice pop. So appreciate that. So yeah, new segment that we're doing, feedback Tuesday nights, certain things, certain comments that jump out at me all throughout social media. I'm going to, dedicate a segment to you guys. And right before I move on to the next segment, I got to give a shout out to Darth Jader 316, who said, I used to work at WWF New York. Best job ever. Darth Jader, maybe you can, before we move on to the next topic, but can you shed any more light on the WWE store that closed out there in New York? Do I have all the information correct as far as the accounting books and all that? It wasn't matching up per WWE, and that pretty much was the reason why they had shut that bad boy down. And what about the stuff on the drugs? Because supposedly there were employees that were doing some extracurricular stuff as far as selling on the side. If you could let us know real quick, that would be awesome, man. I'll buy you a little bit of time. You guys are checking out the show right now. Hope you're enjoying it. If so, make sure if you're checking this out on YouTube, you click the like. If you haven't subscribed, do subscribe. Click the bell icon so you never miss out on notifications for all episodes, all content that we do for you on YouTube. Spreaker, there's a heart/like icon there. Click that bad boy. Appreciate that. And Darth Jatter got back with us. He said, yes, there was money being skimmed off the top. All right, so yeah, just making sure we understand it right. What about the drugs? I would imagine you know, can you comment on the drugs thing as well? So I mean, we're all in agreement. Definitely the money wasn't quite looking right, but I have a feeling it's just a matter of the logistics, the location, the lease. You know, like I said, you know, I think in due time, if everything goes accordingly with New Orleans, give it about, I would say, 8 months. And if it's making WWE a profit, that's the most important thing. If it's making them a profit, they'll definitely will probably look into expanding. And Darth Jatter, he jumped on there one more time. He said, not sure about drugs, but there was also an assistant store manager that got a harassment situation with another associate. Basically, that assistant store manager got into a harassment situation with another associate of the store there. Okay. All right. Thank you for that, Darth. We appreciate that, man. Welcome. Welcome. So let's keep it moving along here. Jeff Jarrett, in case you guys had missed it, he was backstage at tonight's SmackDown in Nashville, Tennessee. Showed some footage of him interacting with a few stars, one of them being AJ Styles. He also did reveal in an interview recently that he was filming an edition of Table for Three with Bobby Roode. So you're kind of wondering, well, who's the third person? Me personally, I would love it if that third person was AJ Styles. I mean, it just makes sense to me. Jeff Jarrett, Bobby Roode, and AJ Styles, or you could do Jeff Jarrett, Bobby Roode, and Samoa Joe. I would love to see them basically do a TNA edition. I think that would be very interesting. Also, just kind of going back to WCW, you could also go with the whole you could also go with the whole WCW joint. You could go with Jeff Jarrett, Eric Bischoff. I think that would be very interesting. Very interesting. And Chris Jericho. I don't know about you guys. Me personally, I would love to see something like that. So we'll have to wait and see how they do that. I like what Darb said in the chat here. To quote a line from Casino, it should have been so great, but in the end, we fucked it all up. Also, speedy recovery to WWE Hall of Famer Arnold Swazenagger. He had open heart surgery to replace a valve that he got installed in 1997 for a congenital heart defect. That valve that he had implanted, it should not have lasted as long as it did. I mean, 12 years top. So the fact that it lasted this long, that's pretty damn impressive, I would have to say. So speedy recovery to him. Everybody's tripping right now over Braun Strowman going on his personal Instagram page, posting a photograph of himself on an airplane with Bray Wyatt. A lot of people are under the impression that maybe Bray Wyatt is going to be his mystery tag team partner at WrestleMania. And Braun Strowman notes on his personal Instagram account that whatever he shares on that account on his personal Instagram is not story related in any type of way. Me personally, I'm a sucker for kayfabe. If Bray Wyatt is supposedly deleted and everything, and people are kind of wondering, well, how does he look now? First of all, don't have him at any live shows. Just pay him to sit on his ass. Just pay him to sit on his ass. Go old school, right? When he needs to travel out and do XYZ, don't let him record anything. Don't let people take pictures of him. You know, if that means you got to wear a hat and you got to switch up your look, so be it. But hanging out with fellow colleagues of the same promotion, no pictures. I'm doing this story arc right now where I got deleted. You know, I get Braun. Trust me, I get him. I'm not crapping on the whole deal, but I'm a sucker for kayfabe, man. Obviously, kayfabe is dead. You know, some people feel that, oh, well, because I'm posting it on my personal Instagram, and I've been playing around with Instagram, I see that there is a setting where you can make your account private. So anybody that tries to come up on your Instagram page in particular, they're just going to see your handle and they'll see your little avatar, but it's going to say this account is private. So you're not going to see anything. So come on. If you're going to be open, right? You're going to have an open Instagram account and you're going to have all this. You got to expect this type of backlash. Seriously. Hey, we got to go back. Do something. John Cena, Undertaker. Do something. You guys got to check out the Instagram photo that John Cena had put out. It's this stick drawing basically of him in jeans, wristbands, and a hat. And he's got this nice yellow lab. And the yellow lab is trying to take a dump. And Cena has a bubble over its head, a cartoon bubble over his head. And it reads, "Come on, do something." And the dog shits out the Undertaker. It's hilarious. I actually went on ahead and made that be the show thumbnail for this week because I got a chuckle out of that. I mean, on the one hand, I'm looking at this, right? And I'm looking at the fact that weeks upon weeks upon weeks and nothing. And yeah, it's a foregone conclusion that Cena versus Taker will be happening at WrestleMania, but just the fact that they're doing it in this fashion where they're just going to let Undertaker just show up. I'm not liking it. I'm not liking it whatsoever. It just comes off as stupid marketing. Even if you were to say to me, well, Lee, in defense of the WWE, they've sold out at WrestleMania. They're good. Well, yeah, that's great. Now, how about these network subscriptions, right? Especially with these free trials they're doing, they're trying to get as many eyes on the product. Don't you think it makes all the sense in the world to do as much hype, as much story arc buildup as humanly possible? Undertaker, Cena, a lot of history there. A lot of history that you can easily just, okay, everything strings together. Yeah, we can do this, but some people feel this is a really great marketing strategy. Me personally, I'm not liking it. I'm not. I hope the match goes well, though. We're going to get into some predictions in a little bit. Let me look at how we're doing on Showtime. All right, so we're about to hit the 2-hour mark. We're about to hit the 2-hour mark. Yeah, you feel what I'm saying, Austin? Yeah, it's dumb booking. Yeah, it is. It is dumb booking. Austin is saying, I agree, it's dumb booking. I personally wanted to see the graphic for the match. Yeah, I'm just going, just give us something. Thunderbolt, Undertaker Phenom sign. You will rest in peace over the PA system. Just give us something. Do something, right? Do something. Just give us something. Do something. Oh my God, do something. Seriously. Braun Strowman. So we talked about that. Paul Heyman, he had recently gave a pretty interesting and candid interview. And I mean, it's kind of like no shits, but I just thought it was interesting how candid he spoke about it. He basically had talked about what exactly is going on with Brock Lesnar. Is Brock Lesnar going to be making a return to the UFC? And Paul Heyman pretty much had said, oh yeah, without a shadow of doubt, he's definitely going to be going back to the UFC. It's just a question of when, but I would suspect he's going to be doing it. I mean, come on. The guy was taking pictures with Dana White in Las Vegas recently at their UFC event. He's let it publicly be known he is interested in going back to the UFC. So I think at this point, it's just a matter of when all of that is going to be going down. But right now, he's just focused on WrestleMania. And pretty much after WrestleMania is over, we pretty much are going to go from there. Both of our contracts with the WWE is coming up at the same time as far as expiration goes. I hope that WWE has the common sense to continue to have Paul Heyman around. Paul Heyman, I'm with you guys. Paul Heyman would be exceptionally be good as a mouthpiece for Ronda Rousey because she needs it. I mean, she could learn so much from him. I mean, I look at her and I just think about Brock Lesnar, quite honestly. And we all know how rough it was for Brock Lesnar. I apologize, for Brock Lesnar in the early years when it came to the promos. I'm not sure if maybe it was because of Paul Heyman, but eventually working with Paul, Brock started cutting really good promos. And anybody that goes back and looks at that time period where Paul Heyman had betrayed Brock Lesnar and went with the Big Show, Brock Lesnar was cutting some really damn good promos. I mean, it wasn't no Dwayne The Rock Johnson or Steve Austin, but he was holding his own pretty damn well. I think if you could get Paul Heyman for the right type of deal and have something laid out with Ronda Rousey, that it would go exceptionally well. Jillian Hall, you guys remember her? She worked for the WWE. What was that, like 2005 to 2010? She was part of JBL's Cabinet faction. You guys remember that? Well, she had got in trouble a couple of years back for DUI. And apparently she did not do the minimum that was required to fulfill her probation period. Like, basically, she could have had the points that was put on her driving record, and I think there was a charge that she had got as well. She could have had pretty much all that expunged if she would have done her classes, service of community, actually hours of community service. Gotta flip that around, yeah. But she did not do that, so she went on ahead and put in a plea of no contest. So she's not fighting it, she's not disputing it, but she's not owning it. So as a result of that, she has to pay like basically up to about $500 of a fine. And they want for her to continue to do some mandatory community service. She's got to still get a certain amount of hours. There was another option that they had gave to her, but they were like, hey, if you don't want to do that, then you're going to have to pay blah, blah, blah. And she said, well, I'd rather go ahead and pay blah, blah, blah as well. So she's actually booked for WrestleMania weekend, doing some stuff with some other wrestling promotions. So hopefully she's got her drinking under control. And most importantly, she's not going to get into some serious trouble. Yeah, Austin, you guys probably will remember that moment. She's the girl that had that mole on her face and the boogeyman had ate it off. Yeah, I remember that moment. Isn't that sad when you really stop and think about it? That is her claim to fame. When you just pretty much look at her entire body of work in the WWE, you just go, and that's no diss to you, Austin, in any type of way, but let's be for real. When you stop and think about her career, no feuds come into mind, other than, oh yeah, JBL Cabinet. You just automatically go, the boogeyman did something. He chewed her face off, didn't he? Yeah, took her mole off. And you're going, so what else did she do? Pretty much not a damn thing. And you go, wow, and she lasted for 5 fucking years, huh? Well, way to get a paycheck there and milk the system. Hell yeah. Some people are freaking lucky, man. The immortal Hulk Hogan. The Hulkster had revealed that he oh my god, he's wanting to make a comeback at the age of 64. He put out a tweet recently, and look, you see the photos of him. He was at the Andre the Giant HBO red carpet premiere, and that's going to be premiering on Tuesday, this coming Tuesday. I'm not going to have the show be live on Tuesday. What's going to happen is our WrestleMania, because we got a hectic schedule, and everything's going to wrap up with us coming on live Monday night to cover the Raw after WrestleMania. I'll give you guys the programming schedule in just a hot minute. We're almost done with the show, by the way. Excuse me. It's not going to go that much longer. We're probably going to stick a fork in it, call it done by about 12:30, 12:35. So he put out a tweet and basically said, hey, I'm back to my old weight of 303. I've got like my WrestleMania build. I've got my old build when I was wrestling full time. Sucks I'm not going to be at WrestleMania, man, because I'm in the best shape of my life. But hey, I'll be rooting everybody on. Kind of had me going. The Hulkster never really did get his proper send off from the WWE.
I'm really inspired, and I'm just kind of following up on what the Hawkster had said a couple of years back. And I tell you what, if you could pull off a Rocky Balboa, everybody remembers that last Rocky Balboa movie. I'm not talking about Creed. I'm talking about Rocky Balboa, and Sylvester Stallone's Rocky Balboa got in the ring one more time, right? One more time. I would love to see the Hawkster go in there and really get the proper send off. I don't know if maybe you would do something similar like Ric Flair, and hey, the next match that you lose, that's it. Your career is over. But I tell you what, I would love to entertain the idea, but what I'm really concerned about is, okay, Hawkster, you've had surgery after surgery after surgery, your knees, your hips. I mean, my God, man, like, where are you right now physically? Can you actually still go in there and put on a 15, 20-minute match? Can you still go in there and hang? And that's great that his build, it's rather impressive. All right. You know, he's gotten a lot older. I'm starting to finally see the age catch up with him. You know, because there's that time period where the Hulkster just, wow, he hasn't aged. What the hell? But now you can see that he's really starting to look more and more like that 64. And he's not as muscular as he used to be, not as well defined as he used to be. So you know, there's a lot of factors that I'm looking at right now that's just making me go, okay, can you really do it? Can you deal with a limited schedule in the WWE? That's what I'm saying. You know, that's the question I'm asking myself. You know, what's up with the back? What's up with the hips? What's up with the knees? Can you really go in there and do it? And, you know, I appreciate his will, but I just don't think it's humanly possible. I just don't think, you know, if it wasn't for all of those injuries, I would say yes. Give him the Rocky Balboa story. That would be fantastic. Let's see him get in there. Let's see him tear it up with a Samoa Joe. Let's see him tear it up with a Kurt Angle. Let's see him tear it up with a Roman Reigns. Let's see him tear it up with a Baron Corbin. For selfish reasons, I would love to see him go up against Brock Lesnar one more time. I mean, them two was just pretty much one and done, if you guys remember that one. I would love to see him. I mean, there's a lot of great matchups I would like to see with him. Hell, for some reason, Jericho just popped in my mind. And Jericho being the heel for that feud, that would be, and Jericho could really sell the hell out of that. Hulkster wouldn't even have to do that much, right? But there are so many great combinations that you can do with the current WWE product right now. Shoot, you could even do the Hulkster and the Undertaker. I know, right? But let's see how the Undertaker does with this WrestleMania first before we even entertain that idea. Yeah, because otherwise it might be two slow turtles going at it in that matchup, right? Or could you maybe do Hulkster and Goldberg? I mean, there's so many interesting combinations that you can do under the right type of story and with the right type of opponent with the Hulkster. But I think everything just first depends on, hey, Hulkster, we hear you talking. Go do some physicals. Let's see you do some impact tests. Let's see how you move about in the ring. And we'll pretty much go from there. He'll be back in the WWE, but not in the ring. I don't believe. Look, if he is going to get in the ring, I see some type of a 2-on-2, 3-on-3, 4-on-4. I'm seeing something like that. I'm not seeing anything as far as a 1-on-1 and you go out there for about 15, 20 minutes. I'm not seeing that happening. So we can just pretty much forget about that altogether. And let's see. Did you guys hear about the new NXT North American title? Did you see the video that Triple H had gave? That title looks fucking sweet, man. I'm loving that design. That joint reminds me of the old WWF days. It's got like that whole WWF 80s vibe to it as well. That belt looks so good. Some people are like, oh man, I like the design. Nice throwback feel. but not feeling the red strap. I'm fine with the red strap, quite honestly. I know a lot of people are suckers for the black strap. I like the design and how it complements the red velvet leather strap that's going on. I like it. I think it's badass. It's really freaking badass. We had a YouTube incident that had occurred. I'm not saying YouTube as far as YouTube, the platform. I'm saying at the YouTube headquarters out in California. Apparently, more information is starting to come in, but apparently there was a woman that had some type of a domestic dispute with someone that works at YouTube headquarters. And they basically took a gun onto the campus and they just started shooting at random people, and eventually this woman had turned the gun on herself, killed herself. So you got a couple of people that are wounded as far as who killed themselves. Looks like right now she's the only one that had pretty much popped herself. But you hear that, you're going, what the flying hell? I just thought I'd acknowledge that because I just think that's like, whoa, are you serious? But you know what's the real kicker? And you guys that have Facebook, tell me if this is crazy. So you hear about this incident, right? And you know how you look on Facebook for trending topics? Like, okay, what's been transpiring? YouTube shooting is not being mentioned at all. Ain't that something? Now, when you really stop and think about that, wow, well, when it's all said and done, Facebook, they're doing the whole Facebook Live video streaming and all that now. They're trying to be the new alternative to YouTube. So I guess as far as Facebook is concerned, hey, look, even though that's news, we're kind of sending our audience to the competitors, so to speak. So we kind of don't really want to acknowledge them. I just think that's like interesting, right? I so think that's interesting. I think if anything at this point, what's probably going to happen in the trending news section for Facebook, maybe once her name is revealed, if it hasn't already been revealed yet, that will basically be your trending, and then you'll pretty much go from there. But just can you just imagine looking in your trending list, looking at your trending list on Facebook, and you see YouTube shootings at headquarters or whatever, and you go, what the hell? But no, it looks like they're being pretty. No, we're not going to talk about that yet. So I think that's funny. Another thing that kind of jumped out at me, beginning this month, you guys will no longer have to sign your receipts when you use your credit card. It doesn't matter the transaction. Wild, right? Long time coming. Common sense here when it's all said and done. The merchants, they aren't looking at the signature and matching it up to the credit card, looking at the signature that's on the back of the credit card. None of them do that. All right? They just don't. Add into the fact also, credit cards are now having the little microchip and there's extra security and all. It just really defeats the whole purpose of signing a receipt for a credit card purchase. So again, beginning this month, that's slowly going to be rolled out. I would think before the year is out, all stores, every merchant, everywhere, they're going to be implementing that. So some good news for you guys. That's maybe a little tree conservative. You don't really appreciate getting an extra piece of paper to sign off on something because you're charging your card or whatever. So a little food for thought right there. And yeah, I'm gonna mention Andre the Giant in a little bit. Thanks for that reminder. All right, so we got a pretty busy week. Whether you are a WWE fan, a New Japan Pro Wrestling fan, a Ring of Honor fan, there's a lot of stuff that's going on. You've got the Impact Wrestling versus Lucha Underground week. There's a lot of stuff that's going to be going on every single day of the week. And this is all in New Orleans, by the way, all in New Orleans. Impact Wrestling is doing something pretty much every day of the week. They're going to be streaming stuff on Twitch, all that good stuff. You've got the Ring of Honor Supercard of Honor 12. That's going to be on Saturday. And I just want to tell you guys how that Ring of Honor card is looking right now. Now, the bell time is going to be at 7 p.m. It's going to be at the Uno Lakefront Arena at 6801 Franklin Avenue in New Orleans. And the way they got it planned, doors are going to open up at 12 p.m. And then you got ROH Ringside Live. You also got a Bullet Club panel that features Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson, Marty Scurll, Adam Page. At 1:45 p.m., you got the Women of Honor panel. That's going to consist of Tanel Dashwood, formerly known as Emma, Kelly Klein, Brandy Rhodes, Diana Perzal, Mandy Leon. 2:45, you have an intimate afternoon with Dalton Castle. 3:45, Best Friends Challenge featuring Best Friends versus Colt Cabana and Ian Rakabani. I hope I pronounced that right. Forgive me in advance. I'm still practicing getting his name down. Versus Elias Young and Beer City Bruiser. God damn, he's still in ROH. Haven't watched ROH in a good minute, by the way. I'm a couple of episodes behind. 4:45 ROH Luminaries panel that consists of Jay Lethal, Christopher Daniels, and Frankie Kazarian, and the Motor City Machine Guns, Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin. You also got the ROH Festival meet and greets that includes personal photos with talent and signed limited edition supercard 8x10s. Good prices too, man. I mean, you got $20, $30. Highest price is $40 apparently. $40 is for, I can tell you real quick, looks like the $40 is for the ROH champion Dalton Castle. Other than that, Young Bucks, they want $50. Kenny Omega, he wants $50. So actually the highest is $50. And then of course you've got the Supercard pre-show at 6:30 and the actual Supercard itself, that's going to start at 7:30. So going to be a good fun event, man. So you got that going on. WWN, they're also going to be doing its thing. They've got a super show, Mercury Rising Super Show. That's going to be on Friday, this Friday. That is going to be in, that's going to be pretty damn good. I'm looking at the card right here. Your main event, you've got the WWN Championship match. That is if Lee is still champion. You've got your main event 2 Evolve Championship match. That's if Zack Sabre Jr. is still champion. Looks like it could be Zack Sabre Jr. taking on Minoru Sawa. Meanwhile, Keith Lee, he's going to be taking on Daisuke Sakamoto. I hope I am pronouncing these names right. You got the Evolve Tag Team Championship match. That's if Catch Point are still the champions. Chris Dickinson and Jacob taking on Walter and Timothy Thatcher. You've got a Shine Championship match. LuFisto, good old LuFisto. She's going to be taking on Holiday. You got a bonus main event. Matt Riddle will be taking on Will Ospreay. Assuming he's going to be all right. 6-man tradition matchup. You got Darby Allin, DJZ, and Trey McGill taking on Austin Theory, Travis Banks, and Zachary Wentz. And you got more that's going to be coming up. Also, we're still talking WWN. You also have, what else? There's another one that they're going to be doing. I think the next day, actually. Yeah, they're going to be doing something on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. They're going to be doing freaking matches. And everything pretty much culminates in the season finale, it looks like. Looks like they're going to be doing a Sky Battle. Season finale 1. Tickets, only $10. Looks like they got a really cool bracket that's going on. You got Keith Lee taking on Nick Gage, Matt Riddle taking on Dave Christ. In bracket B, you got Anthony Henry taking on Jason Kincaid, Darby Allin taking on Tracer X. Non-tournament tag team action. You got Wildcat Sports Entertainment versus Freelance Wrestling. And you've got Kurt Matthews and Jared Wayne versus Matt Nix and Steve Fierce. You got some more bonus matches that's going to be coming. And that's going to be happening April 7th in New Orleans as well. So WWN, very, 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 very busy. They even are going to be doing a wrap-up party on Sunday, April 8th in New Orleans as well. Going to be a live DJ and everything. So a lot of good stuff that's going on there. Who else? Everybody's busy this weekend, man. And of course, you got WWE, you've got WrestleMania. They're going to be doing their thing. And with regards to WrestleMania, I'm just thinking about if I want to go into the card right now for WrestleMania. What are we at now? We're about 2 hours, 20 minutes, and it's 12:39. Do I want to go into the WrestleMania card or do I want to save that? I'll tell you what. Look at the card here. WrestleMania. Let's look at the card here real quick, guys. So I'm going to look at the card here. Let's see. Let's look at this card here. God damn, that's a lot of matches. Okay. I think I can do this kind of quickly. God damn. 13 match. No, I don't want to do this. God damn, that's a lot of matches. No, I don't want to do this actually. Oh my god, that is a lot. That would take us until like 1 o'clock in the morning, and we're already at like 2 hours and 21 minutes. What to do? Well, I'll tell you what we'll do. Guys. This Thursday, I will come on live exclusively on YouTube. I'll come on at 9:15. No, I'll come on at 9 p.m. I'll come on at 9 p.m. this Thursday on YouTube, and I will go into the WrestleMania card. Okay, we can do that as long as, and we can get your input and all that. I'll preview the WrestleMania card, and I'll also preview the NXT TakeOver. So we'll knock out 2 birds with 1 stone. That'll probably give us about maybe 25 minutes, give or take. So we'll do it then, because I'm seeing right now you got that. I mean, just quickly, I mean, we can at least, give you the card, and then I'll offer predictions on Thursday. So your main event match, actually, let's take it from the bottom, work our way up to the top. You got Daniel Bryan, Shane McMahon. They're going to be taking on Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, tag team matchup. Sami Zayn and Owens win. They'll be rehired to the SmackDown brand. Kurt Angle, Ronda Rousey taking on Triple H, Stephanie McMahon, mixed tag team match. Usos taking on New Day, taking on the Bludgeon Brothers, triple threat match for the tag titles. Cesaro and Sheamus will take on Braun Strowman and an opponent, or not an opponent, but a tag partner of his choosing. That's a tag team match for the Raw tag titles. Charlotte defends her women's title against Asuka. Alexa Bliss defends her title against Nia Jax. Randy Orton defends his U.S. title against Bobby Roode, Jinder Mahal, and Rusev. Miz defends the Intercontinental title in a triple threat against Seth Rollins, Finn Balor. AJ Styles defends the WWE title against Nakamura. Brock Lesnar defends the Universal Championship against Roman Reigns. Cedric Alexander takes on Mustafa Ali for the vacant WWE Cruiserweight title. You've got the WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal, and you've got the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. And as far as the NXT TakeOver card, the way that's looking right now, your NXT TakeOver event is as follows. You have Johnny Gargano taking on Tommaso Ciampa, unsanctioned match. If Gargano wins, he'll be reinstated to NXT. If Ciampa wins, Gargano will be banned from NXT. Adam Cole faces EC3, faces Killian Dane, Lars Sullivan, Ricochet, and Velveteen Dream. Ladder match for the inaugural NXT North American Championship. The Undisputed Era's Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly will take on the Authors of Pain, Akeem and Razir, versus Roderick Strong and Pete Dunne. Triple threat tag team match for the NXT tag team titles and Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic Trophy. Amber Moon will face Shayna Baszler for the NXT Women's Championship. And in your main event, Andrade Cien Almas with Zelina Vega at ringside. The lovely Zelina Vega. Cien Almas will take on Aleister Black for the NXT Championship. I'm actually pretty pumped up for that NXT card, I must say. Love me some NXT. Can't wait to check out NXT too. Going to be checking their event out at the Anthem in a couple of weeks, as I had said earlier. So the way the programming is looking for us. So this Thursday, we're going to do a special Call That Match edition of the RCWR show. We'll talk about my picks for WrestleMania and for TakeOver. And then Friday is going to be the WWE Hall of Fame, right? Yeah, Friday's going to be the WWE Hall of Fame. Let me look at the calendar here. Yeah, Friday is going to be the WWE Hall of Fame. I will do a special after show as soon as that concludes. For the Hall of Fame after show, I will come on. Let's see, where are we going to stream? I'll stream on YouTube and Spreaker for that one, for the Hall of Fame. I'll stream on those two. Saturday, we got New Orleans TakeOver. That's going to be at 8 p.m. Eastern. I'll come on after that concludes. You'll be able to catch that. That will be exclusively on YouTube and Spreaker as well. And then Sunday, April 8th, we will have the WrestleMania 34 event. We'll have an after show after that for sure. We'll stream that on all the platforms for you guys. And then Monday, April 9th, you'll get a special RCWR show that will come at you guys on YouTube. And that will also stream on Facebook, YouTube and Facebook only. And that will pretty much be it. The way I'm thinking, we'll go back to our regular schedule the following Tuesday, which I think would be Tuesday, April let me look at the calendar here. We'll go back to our regular schedule on Tuesday, the 17th. But when you look at all of that programming that's, going to be done for you guys, that's a lot of good programming. So what'll probably end up happening is all of those shows that I'm going to be doing, we're going to combine all of those into like a super show, and I'll do my best to remix it and all that. We'll have like a super show that'll be released on Tuesday. Nice package recap for everybody that missed it and are pretty much used to getting their Tuesday fix. But that's pretty much how we'll do it. Because one of the main reasons why there's not going to be a show next Tuesday is because you've got the Andre the Giant special on HBO. That's going to air at Tuesday, 10 p.m. Eastern. So I don't know about you guys, but I kind of want to be actually in front of the TV watching the world premiere of that and commenting on it as it comes about. My light had went out. Sorry about that, guys. All right. So, yeah, other than that, that's pretty much going to do it. All right. So I'm going to go on ahead and I'm going to shut this bad boy down. Before I roll out, I need to give a special shout out to our sponsors for this episode, because after all, without these kind sponsors, and I also got to give a shout out to our Patreon members. Let me not forget our Patreon members as well. But first, let me show some love to our sponsors for this episode. We got some really good sponsors. As I was saying before, without these sponsors, episodes like what you're checking out right now would not be free, sadly. So they definitely are doing their part in working with us, and we love having them on board, as we are brought to you in part by the Civic Help app. You can download that in the iTunes and Google Play Store. It's a really cool app, whether you are a freelancer or you're needing the services of, maybe you need somebody to mow your lawn, maybe you need a contractor to do some type of plumbing in your house, things of that nature. Whether you are a freelancer or you're looking for work, the Civic Help app, they can definitely be of assistance. So check them out. It is the Civic Help app. Also, need to give a shout out to my man Ron Thompson, aka BIRDADS, and his awesome music. I was listening to his stuff the other day during Awesome Con weekend. Loving his stuff. I want a CD of his music. I'm telling you, check him out. He is on SoundCloud. Ron Thompson. That's Thompson spelled THOMPSEN. Or you can look him up as BIRDADS, BIRDADS. Ron Thompson, aka BIRDADS. Shout out to him. Also, big special shout out to DISSECO Solutions. DISSECO Solutions. They provide the best dissection kits for grades 9 through 12 for students and teachers. Non-rust stainless steel dissecting tools for instructional and training purposes. Really great deal. Check them out. Can't beat their prices. We appreciate them being a sponsor for this episode. I don't think I'm missing anybody else as far as sponsors go. I do want to, though, take this time out to recognize our Patreon members as well. And you Patreon members, I have not forgotten about you guys. As I mentioned at the top, and just to recap, you guys are going to get what is a 45-minute Bautista Q&A panel that I have participated in at AwesomeCon. You guys will get that on the Patreon page. And you're also going to get my review of Jessica Jones. I've been sidetracked with other stuff, but I'm actually doing the Jessica Jones. I promise you guys. Definitely going to be doing that for you all. So I appreciate your patience. But shout out to our Patreon members as well, because with their kind contributions, they're also doing their part as well to help out with show expenses. Shout out to Joe Compton, who's also a RCWR show moderator. Shout out to John Davis. Shout out to Michael Wolf. Shout out to Joe Raymond. And special shout out to my good buddy Missionary from Wrestling Soup. All of these kind guys that are our Patreons, we do appreciate it as they're helping doing their part and helping us keep trucking on with the great content for you guys, man. So if you want to sign up, do patreon.com/RCWR show. You get exclusive to great content just starting at $5. You get access to the 30 with Lee series, myself and or Tammy. We're kicking back. We're reviewing classic movies from yesterday, or maybe we're talking about a latest release. You also get exclusive access to bonus episodes of the RCWR show, which reminds me, I need to look into some vintage audio. I'm kind of dreading the vintage audio because when I hear how I sounded way back when, I go, do I really have to? But I got to upload the vintage episodes. You also have a new series, Wrestling with the Topics. That's just me and Tammy talking about some random stuff. It's not even wrestling, but if wrestling comes to mind, then we'll definitely go there. But really fun. I mean, we've already been brainstorming on what we're going to be somewhat talking about next, but we kind of just no, don't just save it. Just make a mental note and let's just get in front and just record, and we'll just let the magic happen, because we just have great chemistry, me and her. We just bounce off of each other so well. But you get access to all of that great stuff for just $5 a month. So do sign up, patreon.com/RCWR show. Shout out to everybody that had interacted in the chats. And I will catch you guys this Thursday. So I am wishing all of you to definitely do your part. Be safe. Most importantly, be kind to one another, especially in these crazy times right now. I want for you guys to take care. All right. All right. Good night. Good morning. And there we go.